Oh my god, that was weird.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of the Haemo-Goblin League podcast. Got a bumper cast today. We've got Matt.
Hello.
James.
Hello.
Mike.
Excited to be on my first podcast. This is big news.
And Tom.
Hello.
Yeah.
I really liked Matt's hello because he sounded just so grumpy. Are you alright, Matt?
It's like he's on question time or something.
I was running some Dungeons and Dragons yesterday, and I know this isn't a Dungeons and Dragons podcast, but I was talking a lot, and I feel like I've got no higher notes in my voice. They've all gone away.
Did you know that women find it harder to listen to men as they get older, and men find it difficult to listen to the high-pitched voice of a woman as they get older? So I'm just sort of thinking we're ostracizing the women.
Didn't know that was
Is that not
a
just older people
statistical
getting...
sort of fact, but I 100% agree with it. Experience. I can say this is true.
Is that not just old people being grumpy?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
I think it's like a way of hiding, like, distaste for the opposite agenda.
Agenda?
Agenda?
Yeah, I did say that. I said that by mistake. Sorry about that. It's
That's a very sort of Marxist way of looking at the whole separation of the society, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone's against each other. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Blood Bowl.
That directly
Talking of everyone being against each other. Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
Get on to the murder and mayhem.
Murder.
Yeah. So we're doing 2 divisions again, 5 per division. We've got quite a nice even split, which was completely coincidental. As I think having this many people on the podcast was completely accidental as well, but we'll all blame James for that.
Oh, what?
I think you should really blame me because I was the one who was too lazy to roll all the dice to actually level up my Noblar team for the intra-season Noblar Cup.
Thank you, Mike. I'm glad that you are honest and mature enough to admit that it was your
I'm
fault.
willing to accept responsibility for my laziness. Basically, that's what it was.
Okay, cool. I'm glad that I don't have to hate you now.
We'll find plenty of other reasons for that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Excellent. You're not relieved of your responsibility yet.
But we were going to go through the teams, take a look at some predictions for overall standings, and then take some crazy guesses at the first few rounds of the league and who we think's winning each matchup.
Cool.
This whole podcast is just going to be James. Well, Euan trying to keep some kind of order to it, and then James just tangenting the shit out of it.
This is not fair.
Probably
this reminds me of a historical fact in World War II. No, okay, I'm joking. Carry on.
I mean, I'm worried that might make the podcast a lot better.
You're worried?
I don't want that.
We'll get too many views.
Yeah, we want to stay under the radar. We don't want to, go mainstream quite yet.
I don't want to be famous. Don't want to be
turns out
famous
this is
for
the
Blood Bowl.
perfect cast.
Yeah. Yeah, we were getting, sort of 30, 40 views on YouTube before, and now with this particular combination, the Haemo-Goblin, the podcast is just going to be challenging Critical Role for the top.
Oh, man, I'm going to have to
Critical
change
Role.
careers.
I've never heard of
it.
Yeah, and they've never heard of the Haemo-Goblin League podcast either, so...
Okay, I'm going to be controversial here and say I think we should stay on topic. We're getting a bit...
Oh, sorry, James. We'll try.
Calm down, James.
Thank you.
So,
I've got a life to lead. Come on.
Time. Chop.
So, Team 1. My team. Hooray!
Woohoo!
Necromantic.
As far as I can
win.
see, Team 1 is actually James's Wood Elves.
Oh, we're going through it as per the tabs on the sheet.
Okay.
I see. Not on the list of... All right, I'll
It's
change
okay,
it.
mate.
All right, I'm caught up. I'm with the program. Team 1.
Team 1.
It's a
Okay.
little bit of hubris here. Isn't it?
Oh, I see.
League organizer puts himself number 1.
Arrange the tabs or anything. And we've always done it this way. This is what you get for being on the first time on the podcast, Mike. This is how we've always done it, and this is how we'll continue to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to throw a spanner in the works,
Mm.
but
Ooh, Death
I've got
Vader.
a whole box full of spanners here.
I like your team, theme. Team
Yeah, it's
theme.
funny.
Yeah.
Mixed windows.
Lack of hands solo.
Which
That's
probably
funny.
means that if you name like that, is it sort of nominative determinism if they drop every ball?
Yeah. Definitely not.
I mean, if it
Sure
happens, that would be
stubs.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully none of my zombies are ever going to pick up the ball, but there we are. But yeah,
Yeah.
Lack of hands solo actually got the MVP for your first match already. So
yeah, I don't think they did anything, to be honest, but that's how MVP is. But yeah, team is 2 werewolves, 1 flesh golem, 2 wights, and 5 zombies, 6 zombies. The rest of the team is zombies, and 3 rerolls. So couldn't afford the ghouls, which I really wanted, but had to essentially drop. I could have dropped 2 werewolves for a ghoul or a werewolf for a flesh golem. But with lots of sort of elves and speed in the league, I did want to have the werewolves from the start and use wights as anything else to sort of catch up with people.
They're pretty good, aren't they, werewolves? You don't really want
Yeah,
to miss them. And you want to level them up quite well, don't you? Probably.
yeah. They're one of the best
Yeah.
players when they get going, but necromantic aren't as good as undead at the start, typically speaking.
I see you managed to get 2 touchdowns with both your werewolves there already, which is good going.
Yep. Yeah, they're kind of both blitzers and the scorers for the team, especially until the ghouls come along.
That sounds very dangerous. I hope somebody can kill them.
this might be controversial, but I don't think you should
Oh.
get any ghouls.
Oh.
Really?
That's
I want some
extremely
ghouls
controversial.
Are you
later.
sure that's
but,
safe for this type of podcast? Are you sure you want to put that down in a recording?
Well, it's already happened.
Well, Matt, you're the only person here to have played necromantic before.
Yeah, and I
Why?
nearly
Why?
won the
Why?
league with
Why?
them.
Yeah. Why no ghouls then?
Well, I think I suppose it does depend on the other teams that are in the league, and you have said obviously that there are some quicker ones, but from my experience with them, they were more easily injured. Obviously, everyone else has regenerate, and I don't know if you're planning on getting an apothecary. Oh, I haven't actually looked if you've got one. You haven't.
Well, you can't
hopefully-
get one as necromantic.
Oh, of course you can't. Yeah. So I mean, the point being, I think that they seem like easy targets. People attack them and they die. So that's why I wouldn't bother with the ghouls. If you're trying to use them as scorers, obviously they'll get SPP, and then if they die, that's it. It's gone, and then you have to kind of rebuild. So that's my sort of opinion on them. But then I did build the team quite sort of tanky. I had a lot of SPP on flesh golems. My wights I used as the kind of blitzers, and then the werewolves were kind of more of the scorers because of their speed.
No, that makes a lot of sense. That's essentially why I didn't start with them, and they're movement 7 with starting with dodge. So
Yeah.
if I want to take them in later, it's perfectly reasonable.
And I was quite fortunate in my previous season in that I managed to kill a person per game, so I just kept getting zombies added to my roster for so long.
All right. I was kind of thinking that, Matt, you've classically had a lot of deaths in your teams, though, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
So I just wonder if it's your bad luck. You just
This, yeah,
you're
I mean,
a Final Destination player or something.
When I
cheating.
played as these guys, it was the least deaths I'd had, but I definitely had deaths. I mean, one of my werewolves, I think I gave leap. No, they have leap. Do they have leap?
Blue.
No, they do not have leap.
That's hilarious.
I'm pretty sure I gave one leap, and the first time it used it, it jumped and died. Actually, died, but it regenerated. Thank goodness.
That is funny though.
Yeah.
Maybe Death Vader will die. It will sort of fight its son. Oh, do you think it will have a fight? I'm just trying to. I'm trying desperately to incorporate a Star Wars joke, but kind of have given up halfway through. I was going to say maybe they have a fight with armed against Skywalker, and then Werewolf dies at the end.
You really need another highly unlikely for that to be an effective joke, and that seems like a lot of effort.
Yeah, you see, it's just not. It's not worth the effort. So back on track, everyone. Sorry about that.
Next
Stop
up, we got.
You're such a twatooine.
Oh,
Right.
damn.
That was horrible.
This is a family show, Matt. That's
Yeah.
Is it? Oh
I
god.
mean,
Disgusting.
the use
was
of
a
that
family
word
show.
is definitely not as bad as what I've already heard.
It sounds like they need some lube if they're like a Tatooine twat.
Okay, yeah, it's gone too far now.
Gone too far.
I wasn't planning on doing anything editing for this, but I might have to now.
You add some
And the
beeps.
workload is it.
Yeah.
Can you add more beeps than there are like actual profanities?
Oh yeah, we
I was
I
imagining
might,
when he
I
said
might just
edit,
beep all of
delete it.
James's.
Yeah.
I might just beep
just
all of
everything
James's.
James
I mean,
says.
I could just leave, like, I could just go and like go for a long walk on my own or something. I
I'm
don't
very
know.
sorry, James. The audio had your mic settings at 0.
Oh no!
Oh man.
That would be
That's
brilliant.
going to
All
make
of
us all seem crazy.
Everyone talking to James and him not being there. I'd actually listen to that podcast.
Yeah, perhaps we'll release 2 versions of this. We'll have the James version and the non-James version.
It kind of reminds me of parties I went to at primary school. So don't worry.
Oh
No
god,
one
I feel
listened to
so
you.
bad now. But keeping it vaguely on the Blood Bowl track again.
Yeah.
Next
I'm
up, we
surprised
have.
James is actually invited to any parties in primary school.
Oh, here we go. I had to invite myself. That's what I meant.
I wasn't invited to any.
Next up, we got Thomas's Kales Dwarf team.
You lads.
Made a late change to get the 3rd reroll in. At the cost of, I think he has to drop a Chaos Dwarf blocker to that, so he's only got 5 of them, 2 Bull Centaurs, and 4 Hobgoblins.
Yeah, I mean,
I know my choice was late, but I was expecting to be playing Amazons here, and so for Chaos Dwarf to show up was a bit of a surprise.
It's not good
So-
news, is it? I've got to play them first as well, and I'm Wood Elves, and I'm not really looking forward to it.
I think that's. Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people are like Dwarves are really good against Elves because they got tackle, but Elves don't start with dodge.
Right.
So the tackle doesn't actually help at the start. When Elves develop later on, then yes,
Right,
goes
so it's
on,
just
goes
for
back.
ability, regardless. Yeah.
I think
Okay.
Yeah,
if you're hitting them and pushing them back from you as well, you're trying to create space more than dodging away. Generally, I'd say as well.
yeah. This team might end up as the most brutal, aggressive team, especially in
Yeah.
Thomas's hands.
Yeah.
Certainly is in Division 1. Division 2 has got quite a few candidates for that thing, including
Yeah,
some of
there's
the more maybe
orcs and
teams.
ogres, aren't they?
Yeah, and
There's,
goblins. Like if you.
Oh yes, they're killers, aren't they?
talking of goblins, I mean, 4 hobgoblins is an interesting choice.
Well, the hobgoblins are just cheap. So if you need to fill out a roster, and they tend to act as the ball carriers for Chaos Dwarf as well.
Okay.
So yeah, when I played Chaos Dwarfs in Season 2, I'm pretty sure this is the exact same lineup as I went in with. Then
Is this the one I played you with lizards against in the final?
Yes, yeah. So by that time, I had a Minotaur and another Chaos Dwarf.
Yeah.
Probably like 2 extra rerolls at that stage as well. But yeah,
I've heard like a lot of people describe them as kind of overpowered though, like later on, because of like claw and stuff like that. They can just destroy your team.
Chaos Dwarfs have a lot of basic skills to start off with, and then they're quite customizable. So yeah, you can really build like a killing Chaos Dwarf or just an absolute tank Chaos Dwarf. And
They get claw.
they get claw. They get access to mutation on a double roll.
Right, okay.
Is it only on a
Okay.
double that they get the mutations?
Yeah, so they don't have easy access, but they do have some access, and over the season they'll get 2 or 3 players with it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I had Skaven last season, and didn't get a single mutation. I was pretty gutted.
So do Skavens have access to mutation on the basic? I didn't realize.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, which is pretty cool
Okay.
if you can get it. So hopefully,
Bit new
fingers
to the-
crossed, he doesn't get to roll any doubles. So that would be quite nice. Unlikely, but would be nice.
Yeah, excuse me if some of my comments are revealing my ignorance, shall we say? Because I am still quite new to Blood Bowl. And I'm not familiar with all the teams yet, so trying to catch up as we go.
I couldn't remember if Skaven got access to mutation either.
I'd forgotten they had until James mentioned it. So
Yeah. Well, is there Skaven this season? No.
no.
No Skaven.
But next up, we've got Lachlan's High Elf team.
The upper
Cool.
middle
With-
class.
I do enjoy that name.
Yes, I think Lachlan has my personal favourite theme so far, although not my favourite player name, which we'll come to in a bit.
Oh,
My favorite so far was Mace Window that I've seen, but we haven't got through all of them yet.
So Lachlan starting off with 2 rerolls and having a few more positional players, not having the goal to get everything you want to start off with.
damn
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, 2
My
blitzes
personal
to-
opinion of the team in general, High Elves, aside from his makeup of the team, I personally don't think they're great as a team. I much prefer the Wood Elves. I don't know they've got that kind of advantage in their armor.
Why would you choose High Elves over Wood Elves in terms of,
Or Dark Elves.
Hmm.
They're not
think-
as good as either, I don't think. Yeah.
the one advantage that High Elves have over both of those teams is that they have more players with armor 8, and this will be Lachlan's team with the highest average armor value, which is kind of
weird.
crazy when it's to Elves.
That is
High Elves
crazy.
do? Okay, so they
Uh,
all, or mostly, I presume probably not the catchers, huh?
I think the catchers are armor 8 as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
think
everything's
that-
got the armor. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the thrower might be 7, but it's but yeah, it's pretty consistent good armor. And when Lachlan's been goblins and Norse and things, then having armor 8 just seems
Yeah,
crazy.
like a luxury.
I just
I
noticed
think
his
it'll go to
throwers.
his head and it'll
Sorry,
go
Tom.
to his head and he'll feel invincible and just throw them into just any situation in
Well,
between 6 ogres or something.
6-6. Yeah. Not going to make a rude comment about that. So you don't have to edit that out.
His throw is called Noble Fumbling, which I assume is a play on words for no ball fumbling.
Yes,
I think is quite clever.
and they currently lead in most passes thrown in the league. So hurrah!
Ah, yeah, well done.
Yeah,
A
With one-
fantastic
with-
3. That's quite impressive.
Yeah.
with one game gone. So
1 game, 2 passes. Good job, Lachlan.
3 passes.
Dead proud of you. 3 passes?
Yeah, one of his
What?
linemen made one as well.
That's exceeding my expectations already. Well done, Lachlan. I mean, he did lose, but well done anyway.
Don't get points for passes.
Also
Next
loving
up-
the Game of Thrones reference on Princess Cersei.
Yeah. Mhm.
Sorry, yeah,
Yep.
go on next up.
And
Next up-
Viscount Sophia's
next up, one
for
of
being
the
delicious.
Next
Okay.
up, next up.
next up, normally the most unique team, but actually got some other teams in Division 2 that probably equal that. But always one of the most interesting starting lineups. We've got Mike's Kislev.
Yeah, so,
Just as a slight warning for you, Mike.
Yes.
I played Euan, and I was Orcs and he was Kislev, and he had to choose a different team after the game because he didn't really have any players left.
well, that is exciting because my first game is against Matt, who is Orcs. So we'll
Exactly.
see how it goes. I picked them just because it would be interesting. I didn't know what I wanted to play this season. Obviously, last season I did the Orcs, which was fun. But I wanted to try something completely different. And having first tried out with the Wood Elves last time, I thought I don't want to do that again. Not so soon, but yeah, this just seemed like the most interestingly different team that I could pick.
I mean, they're a lot of fun.
And I've got no idea how they're going to play. I haven't played a practice game with them or anything at all at this point. Watched a few YouTube videos about the lineup, and so I'm not sure if the league's going to be long enough, but I'm going to hopefully try and develop, the blitzers and go for a blitzer heavy team rather than a catcher based team.
They all have leap and very long legs.
They all have leap and very long legs. Yep. There's no block
Which is
to start with.
very annoying.
At all, and no sure hands. So I have.
They all have problems at home with their parents. That's why they joined the Kislev circus.
Yeah,
So
I did
hopefully we can.
literally put my team together while we were discussing Euan's team on the sheet. So I haven't got a name yet or anything, but I think that's the lineup I'm going for. Not doing the bear to start with. We'll see if I manage to get one or not, or end up changing teams as Euan ended up doing. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Lachlan ran them the season after and got to the playoffs with them and had one of the most incredible playoffs games, which he was somewhat unlucky to lose. We had a 4-3 playoff game.
Oh, wow.
Escaping.
Oh wow,
That sounds like a pretty cool one. So, Lachlan, how did you enjoy playing them?
I don't think Lachlan's here.
He's not here. Sorry.
Yeah.
I guess he's not in the room.
Yeah.
we just edited him out. That's the truth.
Yeah, he was definitely here earlier. I was
Yeah, for sure.
editing to remove him.
But
Can someone pretend to be Lachlan just for that question?
I hope somewhere Lachlan sort of heard that and sort of instinctively started talking when he listened. But,
I did intend to ask his advice on the lineup before putting it on here, but I sort of was forced by this podcast, so I guess that's what we're going to go for.
I think this is the same thing that Lachlan went for. I'm pretty sure he had 4 rerolls and didn't have a bear, so I'm not sure if he squeezed an extra catcher instead of blitzer or something, but from memory, this looks right.
Yeah, these blitzers are very expensive considering some of the skills that you might hope for. So
yeah, they kind of start off with all the niche stuff you upgrade later and none of the basic stuff, which makes them
like no block.
Yeah,
I feel
no
like
blitzer, they don't have block. What the? But
I feel like their greatest weakness lies in their leap as well as it being their strength. Like if you get an agility up,
mess yourself up.
Exactly. I mean, if you get an agility up, then I think take it easily.
Yeah,
because
it seems like a good idea.
The chance of falling down, they're all agility 3, aren't they? There's no one higher than that in the team.
The catcher, I think.
Are they?
Oh no, they're all agility.
No, the catcher's 4.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it? Okay.
The catcher's probably
And
the best one to jump with.
Yeah, definitely the best one to leap with. And but the long legs gives them a +1 on any
of course it does. Yeah,
leap reroll. So it makes the leaping easier, but I think most of them leap on a 3+.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's something you wouldn't want to use regularly, but
No, you can't use
you
it like
need to.
standardly every turn, but we got the 4 reroll there if you need it, sort of thing,
yeah.
for some interesting plays. Does anybody? I don't know yet. If you were to leap out of a tackle zone, do you still need to roll to escape the tackle zone?
No, you don't.
Yes.
You don't dodge.
You don't dodge out. Okay, so that might be quite a useful thing in itself. If the 3+ is better,
You'll have to dodge out on the other side because usually you'll want to get away from them.
So it depends. Yeah, it depends where you're leaping to, and because generally it depends if you're
sure. But
attacking.
if you leap from a tackle zone to a square which is not occupied by a tackle zone,
Yeah. That's not
you wouldn't need
dodge.
to reroll. So that might be quite useful in some circumstances, maybe.
But if you jump into a square, isn't it affected by tackle zone? Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
I think actually in Blood Bowl 3 they've changed it so it will be, but Blood Bowl 2 it's not.
Yeah, but
I
when you
think I
move
heard
into a tackle zone, normally it doesn't. Unless you're moving from one into another one, they're not
That's true.
affected. So it's only really ever when you leave, and leap gives you the advantage of not having to leave. As it were.
Yeah. Lachlan's Kislev team from season, I think it was season 4 we did it. I think was the most frustrating one I've ever had to play against.
Me too, actually. Yeah.
It is a team that can combust, but it's a team that when it rolls hot, it can just do stuff that no one else, including Elves, can pull off.
I remember doing everything right on defense, and he just kept scoring on me. I was like, there's nothing I can do, because if leap works, it just works. There's nothing you can do.
What team were you playing against him at the time?
I think I was high elves. I could be wrong.
Yeah, okay.
But if he gets past you and then you can't stack up double layers of players and all that crap, then you can't do anything about it.
I played him and I was necromantic, and my tactic was, instead of the standard cage with 5 players, I built the cage with an additional 4, and I had a 9-man cage, an entire block, because then he can't leap in.
You should probably get a wizard as well then.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've got a wizard,
Sounds like-
that would be deadly. Oh.
I like the fact that there's a group of security guards who work for Justin Bieber that probably just said a similar thing to you, Matt.
Yeah, we don't want a 5-man.
We need a 9-man for Justin
9-man
Bieber.
block.
A 9-man block.
Keep those agile teenage girls out.
Yeah. yeah. Like those little goblins, as we like to call them.
So moving on next, we have James's expertly crafted team.
Yes, it's they're still spruces, so they don't have names yet. But my wood elves are going to be fantastic.
Yeah, let me just put in some players for you now. There we go.
They're going to be formidable. And what is this? Anonymous chipmunk? Could you please leave my team alone? Thank you.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, this anonymous chipmunk is ruining my life. Catch this. All right, I'm getting distracted.
This has to be the next one. Yeah, there we go.
But I think, if I remember, I'm not going to go for a tree initially. I'm just going to go all runny for a bit, which sounds disgusting. And then...
Actually, if you don't call your war dads Rhythm is you just, yeah, that's beautiful.
Rhythm is
War
Oh my
dads.
gosh!
Rhythm is a war dancer.
Get your own team names. Is this Mike as well? He hasn't even done his own, and he's
Did
like
you-
sabotaging mine.
I did mine while we were craftily talking about Euan's team. Lazily just podcasting in that time when you could have been.
Lazily podcasting. Hey, I was coming up with convoluted tangents.
Sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
Speaking of convoluted tangents,
Yeah.
has anybody looked at the latest? Have I got news for you?
What?
I haven't, but I like to watch it on a Sunday evening, and I thought we should talk about it.
I have
right,
not.
okay.
I haven't watched. I've got news for you in a couple of years.
Are you saying you just want? I
Sorry,
feel like
Lachlan.
you're subtly saying you want to leave the podcast and
Yeah.
watch.
No,
I'm pretty sure the person that wasn't
doing my part to come up
invited
with some confident.
wants to leave.
Wait,
feel like-
invited?
I feel like Have I Got News for You might have more content on Blood Bowl per minute.
Yeah.
What is our rate right now?
Yeah.
Is that a start?
Well, my team is going to be incredibly focused and won't have any tangents and won't have any re-rolls even. Won't even need a re-roll.
But you're
I think-
starting with 3 trees, are you?
I think I think James's team might struggle because they only have 5 players.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, they've
which is
got a lot of
elite.
spare money. He's going to
Yeah.
have all the inducements. You've got to remember that.
I have
Okay.
a question for you, James.
Yes.
Because
Euan,
this
hello.
season you've been Wood Elves. The previous
Yeah.
2 you've been Skaven, and the
Mhm.
season before I think you were High Elves.
Yeah.
Can you
So-
not cope with that Agility 4?
So I am annoyed that I'm not very good at this game, and I can't quite accept that I am doing so badly with agility teams, and I just want to get somewhere with one.
Maybe your natural
Um,
playstyle is
and-
to beat people up, and you just don't know it yet.
Well,
Right, Bashy
I
team
do have a
games,
lot
because-
of built-in anger from from not being invited to birthday parties at school. So, but like, so I kind
Tell you,
of,
man.
yeah. So I kind of want to sort of move away from that. But maybe you're right. Maybe I just need to have the catharsis of using a bash team for once. But I did start with
Undead.
Undead, and I think I did surprisingly well considering I didn't know what I was doing. And then High Elves, I got into the playoffs, and then
Starting
Skaven,
with
I just
Undead,
had an awful
Did you
time.
start a league and then change teams, or did you play it all the way through?
No, I've just played lots of times, I guess, by now.
Okay.
Yeah, lockdown was a long time, so
Mm.
yeah.
So-
Yeah.
I think that the
So next-
Wood Elves are a good choice, though, James.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a good team. Like their worst position so far is losing runner-up.
That was
Right,
me.
I see. That's
albeit
about a change.
The best position
Not
was
gonna
Losing
you
runner-up
winning.
for the playoff position. What's up?
Hey,
But next up we have
Oh.
Matt's team,
Oh.
and I do have to say that Rorosaurus is my favourite player name of the season.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
So
No,
I,
Rorosaurus.
That was.
so I didn't realise.
Yeah.
I didn't realise.
Poo, that's my favourite.
I thought it might be. I actually thought of you when I wrote that down.
Oh no, I'm such a child. I was thought of while someone wrote poo.
Yeah.
That's not something I want to put
It
on
was
my
the
CV.
dab bit at the beginning. That was the bit that I
Jab
thought you'd- Yeah, I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
just for some clarification.
Is the disgusting mean? Is that
Oh, man.
mathematical?
No.
I didn't realise.
Go on.
I didn't realise that your children named your team. So I just
Yeah.
thought you had a complete mental breakdown.
No, that is what's happened here. Yeah. So my team name, Goblin Guys. I basically described the team. I said, there's like a troll, there's some orcs, they're big
quite
green
fun.
mean guys. I said, oh, and there's a goblin. And then Lucy was like, Goblin Guys, and I was like, sure, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. And I was like, I'm gonna spell it with a Z because that's what orcs do. So yeah, and then I showed them some pictures of each of the types of character, and they came up with the names. So yeah, Disgusting Mean is the troll. Rorosaurus, I can't remember who came up with that. Dragon, Buster Guy, and Dapupu, they're the black orcs. Spooky Orc / Great Guy, which I
Fair
think is
It's a really great guy.
and,
Yeah.
and Scary
Real charmer.
are the
Yeah.
blitzers. We've got the thrower called
I don't
Red,
think.
who was basically called that because the model that I found online happened to be wearing it was painted red. And then Do Wee Wee is the goblin.
I
Is that
don't
one
think.
yours by any chance?
What was
No, it wasn't. Was it?
What was that, Tom?
Oh no, I was just saying. Like, I don't think Great Guy gets on with the rest of the orcs.
that?
Yeah. he's actually upper middle class, but was born an orc. So
I think my team motto is my children named this team. I think that's
yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'd have to check, but it's not on the sheet, obviously.
I think what's quite interesting is last season, obviously, we had a lot of orc teams, and pretty much all the orc teams followed pretty much the same template: 4 black orcs, 4 blitzers, and then the rest were linemen with 3 rerolls. And it's interesting that this season that Matt's gone for the more positionals, but 1 less reroll.
Yeah, taking the troll and the goblin is an interesting starting lineup.
Yeah. So I just didn't want to do like the standard. It's definitely less consistent, and I only have 2 rerolls, so it might not pay off. But I just sort of think it makes them a bit more interesting, a bit more dynamic.
I've got no problem with the troll and the goblin. I just have a problem with the thrower. Like, he just upsets me. Like, because he's lower armor.
Yeah.
And he's slower than everyone else. Well, sorry, he's slower than a blitzer. And yeah, I just don't. And you're not really going to throw it anyway.
Yeah, I found that last season my thrower's main task was to pick up the ball and hand it off just because of that sure hands. And having gone through the whole season, it possibly wasn't worth having that player.
Yeah, I think I'm not too fussed about the speed element because I don't feel like I'm going to be running about particularly quickly. But I know what you're saying, and I have some ideas that I'd like to try, but we'll see.
Ooh.
Yeah,
It's really tough. It's really tough being an orc, like choosing an orc lineup now that everyone's been orcs.
yeah, this is a good point. I might end up.
Yeah, everyone's got an
against
opinion,
everyone.
that's for sure.
Well, also, I mean, everyone will know what I'm
everyone
doing,
think-
maybe, or will see the weaknesses in my team because of the fact that they've played them before.
Yeah, I like
Well,
that you've tried something different.
Can I make a suggestion,
Me
Matt?
too.
Yeah.
A bit like with your team names, can you just get your kids to make the decision on what each player does while you play? Because
That might help me out in my first game.
that would be like much easier for Mike.
I mean, I expect
Yeah,
I'll run
at
out of time every turn if I do that.
That's not a problem. That's fine.
Is that any different to normal?
No, it isn't. Yeah, I do tend to take a while.
Yeah, Matt, you are notoriously slow. but
Well,
that's
so are
fine.
you. I think of the two of all players in the
Am I?
league, I think it's me and you are
Oof.
the slowest in terms of our
Okay.
turn length. That is.
And that's why we're friends. Because we both like going to bed at like 4 a.m. But it's probably not because we have more to say. It's just because we get.
It's
take a lot
also why
longer
you
to
don't
get
get invited to.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
but it's because you go
Yeah.
over on so many tangents. We're trying to talk about one thing for ages, and eventually get to the end at 4 a.m.
Who just made a tangent?
You made that tangent. I referenced
Me,
the
yeah,
fact
me,
that
I
you
probably
talked
made
about
that
4 in the
tangent,
morning.
yeah.
It's your tangent.
Fair enough. We'll move on. Ewan, take control of me. No,
Engines aren't
don't take
made;
that
they
the
are
wrong way.
flowed.
So
Okay.
David's team then.
Okay, David's team.
David's team.
So
Ooh,
David's
names.
done something similar to Matt, and that's something that's actually been quite common this season of people starting with 2 rerolls and filling out their roster with more positional players.
Hmm.
So he's
Yeah,
gone
I
the
think
full strength lineup with Croxigor, 6 Saurus, and 4
Shit.
Skinks.
No, we're just
That's
Six
that's
scores. Oh,
that's
I
Looks like a
hate,
scary team.
I hate
It's-
lizards. Blech.
they're great.
yeah,
They are
good. They're a
great.
good team. They are a good team, and
I
that's
hate
a
them.
good that's a good lineup for them.
I've had
Yeah.
so many bad experiences playing against sources. Like one season, like was it Matt and Thomas were like
I think it was Tom and Thomas.
oh, it was Tom and Thomas.
Yeah.
Tweedledum, Tweedledee. Like they were just sort of a nightmare to play against. Yeah, I hated it with my heart.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
So,
Swords seem like a really the Lizardmen seem like a really tough team. Like, what is their disadvantage? You know, they've got these
they're
Uh,
like two
Swords,
sides
they've
of
got
a
a
coin.
Croxigar and the Skinks.
Yeah, so like they're two sides
So-
of a coin. So if you take one side away, then they're
Yeah.
done. So kill the Skinks, and they
Yeah.
can't ball handle.
get rid of the
Also-
Saurus, yeah, and then they're fucked.
Oh yeah, you
For
can
that
tie
long.
down the
If you
Saurus.
can get rid of the Saurus, that seems like
Yeah.
if you can do.
Split them up.
If you're the necromantic
Yeah.
team, for instance, put a zombie on every Saurus and just keep it there, because then you can't do anything. The Sauruses have agility 1.
Right, but they will eventually destroy your zombies.
I
won't
know,
they?
but your zombies are tough. They've got regenerate as well if they do go down. So yeah,
And I think it's the thing that kind of each player kind of has to do 2 roles in a, or sort of take up 2 players worth of role. So a Saurus kind of has to punch someone and probably tag someone. You don't want to be tagging people with your Skinks. So if you do lose a Saurus, then you really feel it much more than in other teams being a player down.
Unless you make a killer skink.
Unless you
think
make a
it's-
killer Skink,
yeah.
yes.
Well, also you can make ball handling Sauruses. If you can level up a Saurus with like a plus, was it short? Oh, I saw it somewhere.
Don't they have 1 agility?
Yeah, but if you get like
You-
sure
you
hands
can-
on it
you
and
can-
something else.
I don't think you can make a ball handling Saurus. I think you can make a pretty dodgy Saurus with break tackle,
Hmm.
which
No,
really helps
I
their
saw it
weaknesses.
somewhere. I need to. Maybe I'll go
And-
find it.
Dodgysaurus sounds like a good name for a player as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, if you put sure hands on a Saurus, they've got like a 50% chance of catching the ball at that stage,
Not too bad.
which is not the end of the world.
Still quite a
if-
risk, though.
I've realised.
If you
Sorry, go on.
if you need it, it's a legitimate option at that point.
I was going to say, I've realised that we haven't actually been talking about the fact that everyone already has a stadium upgrade. Well,
Ah.
so if,
Oh,
if
yeah.
anyone,
Oh, I haven't done mine.
if anyone knows what
Oh, I
they've
have
got,
actually. Sorry.
what do you have?
Everyone
Ewan?
has a stadium upgrade.
start
This is
it.
news to me.
Well,
What?
I won't
Yeah.
see. The thing is, because of my Mac, I won't actually be able to ever use my Stadium upgrade,
Aw.
which I'm fine with. Like, I'm not that bothered. But like,
What is it?
mine is like squig stand, so I'm not even sure what it does.
Is it
Like
sandwich?
know what
squig
that does?
sandwiches. Yeah, squig sandwiches.
are you thinking of sponsor rather than the stadium upgrade?
No, I think there's a squig.
What does it do?
I'm gonna bring the game up and see what I'm on about.
So, while we're worrying about that, we've got Gummer's team next,
Oh,
and as we know from I think it was season 2 when we had our last Goblin team, which was run by Lachlan. Goblins are the most terrifying team to play against. You'll probably win, but they are the most terrifying team.
yeah,
I
you kind of
can't deal
don't
with the
feel
stress.
easy. Yeah.
So, Gummer's gone 2 goblins, 2 trolls, 9 goblins, I think it is. A fanatic, a pogoer, a loony. Has Nuffle Stadium upgrade built in already, so that's the cheapest star players, and has 60k less for TV value.
That
Like-
sounds scary already.
Yeah, this is
Know what the Squig Sandwich kiosk does? The throw a rock and get the ref kickoff events are cancelled.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, there was a thing. I was right.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Was
yeah,
it?
yeah. It's a stadium upgrade.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think it's because no one's ever bought that before, so no one I didn't realise it.
Yeah.
I have to say, like, I think if you're playing Gummer, you've got a big advantage. But yeah, I'm very glad Gummer isn't my rival this season.
Yeah, that would be
Well,
dangerous.
he's in my division, so I'm just going to be. I mean, hopefully it's a good match for me. Maybe I'll get loads of injuries, and I mean, theoretically I should, and that'll give me lots of SPP. Maybe he'll just feed me.
It's definitely worse to play as a bashy team because obviously as a bashy team you want to slow grind, and obviously he'll lose 3 players as soon as you score a touchdown.
Yeah.
So maybe if you're a agility team, you've got a bit of an advantage because you can hopefully score quickly.
Yeah, agree with that.
I suspect he won't play all of those 3 at the same drive. He'll probably, space them out.
Yeah,
Maybe I
he's got
shouldn't have
enough players. He's got enough players
Danger
on the
on the
bench
field.
to manage players as well. But yeah,
Yeah, maybe-
you
maybe I
get
shouldn't
injuries.
have- Maybe I shouldn't have said any of this before our game.
Yeah.
Can you bleep that bit out as well? There's just got to be no one on this podcast.
Everyone except myself, and see what
Is it-
see what
Is
people
it the
think.
fanatic
Yeah,
with the
you
ball
have
and chain?
said surprisingly not much.
What was that,
Is
Matt?
it the fanatic with the ball and chain?
Yes, that's his
Yeah.
rank 7 player.
Yeah,
That's
that's the one you
what
never
bizarre,
know to hurt.
yeah.
Just leave it alone. Just try and move away from it.
Yeah.
What does the pogoer do?
It's got leap.
Hilarious.
It's got leap and dodge, so it's a pretty reasonable ball carrier.
Okay.
It's pretty bad at leaping from what I remember.
Yeah, I think it's a 4-up leap everywhere.
It's just
Oh, really? That's not fantastic.
hilarious.
Yeah. And then they've got the what's the shooting one? Is that the loony?
The bombardier.
Has he not got that?
No,
Yeah,
he hasn't
it's
got
not
the bombardier.
Okay,
Um,
interesting.
What does the loony do? Is that the chainsaw guy then?
Yes.
Okay.
I found.
Which is basically a dedicated fowler, but
Yeah.
But the way to sort of stop
Yeah, I've
that
never
is basically
played
hit
a
it.
goblin team before.
It's fun, but it's also a massive headache at the same time.
Mm.
What, for the person
Yeah,
playing
I
goblin?
think if you actually want to win like the whole league, it's probably like not a good choice. But it is funny. And I get the feeling I've played against Gummer a few times and he's exclaimed joy at killing some of my rats. So I feel like that's his main reason for being in the league, is that he quite likes killing like
Wants to
other
cause
living
pain.
things. Yeah, causing pain and generally destroying home lives for fantasy creatures, basically. I think.
Yep.
That
I can
seems
see
very
that being a worthy goal.
Yeah, a noble
And
act.
I'm not looking forward to my game against him at all because
No.
So next up, we have a new player to the league, Jack.
Ooh,
Jack's
Mr. Jack.
mysterious.
Jack's gone balls to the wall with ogres.
Holy
5
fuck.
ogres, 7, 8
Ogres.
and 2 rerolls.
Does he have
I
experience
appreciate
in
this team.
Or like has he played Blood Bowl before? Or is
He has.
like
He
naively
he
going
knows.
into ogres?
No,
Yeah.
he knows what ogres are like and has started off
Okay.
with them. And I think he's
Okay.
also going for Nuffle's Altar as well.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe he knows something we don't know. Like he's just
Maybe.
I don't know.
Well, it's interesting because we'll
Maybe
talk
not.
about matchups a bit later. But like in Division 2, there are quite a few. There are relatively high amount of punchy teams.
Yeah, I'm slightly
and-
concerned that the
Yeah.
Division 2 teams aren't going to survive to the end of the league.
The thing is, like, ogres could, like, they either get absolutely, like, shafted because you keep rolling. What is it? Really stupid, or the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
stupid.
So
I think
they're-
it's really stupid.
But
Wait,
if
no-
they
Own heads.
if they land a few hits on people, they can like injure people really easily and not get injured
Well, they've-
themselves. So they can.
They've all got
level
Mighty
up.
Blow, haven't they?
Yeah.
And they don't have Loner being on an ogre team, which is really nice to them.
Oh, okay.
They don't have Loner.
No,
Yeah.
No, so you can
It's
use
much
those
more
2
reliable.
rerolls for your
They
ogres.
do suck.
Oh.
Though. They're pretty awful.
yeah, handling the ball is a problem, and like
Yeah.
punching people over can be a problem because they don't have any like block or anything like that. So
And the Noblars
Yeah.
are like, are
The
they
Noblars
armor
are so
5?
weak.
Is that right?
The
Armor
Armor
5?
5 with Titchy and Stunty, so I think you get +1 to the roll against it as well. And having just come off the Noblar Cup, everyone knows how fragile they are.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I mean, you're
If you
killing them with your goblins every time. So.
Yeah.
They're kind of like mosquitoes flying into your windscreen. You just sort of walk through them.
And they're not particularly fast either. They don't really have a lot of movement allowance. So you sort of, I'm excited to see some Noblars get thrown. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
That's when they
yeah.
have. That's when they have movement allowance.
Is that a one-turn touchdown as well?
Potentially.
You could do.
It could be.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
excited to see them used as ammunition as well. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
For each
Yeah.
ogre, you just chuck Noblars at all the players around you.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. It's definitely nice to have a team in the league that hasn't been in the league before.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So I think we're just missing like pro elves, and
Oh, yeah.
that might just be them now.
I was thinking of being pro elves this year because I just like the fact they look like Power Rangers.
I thought about it as well, but I just thought they felt like the most
Oh,
boring team possible.
yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
There's nothing about them that made me think this is a good team to pick.
Now I feel sorry for him. I think I'm going to change team.
Yeah, but Tom, it's not like...
it is Elven Union and Halfling are the two teams that haven't been
Oh,
played.
Halfling. Oh, yeah, because Matt didn't win one of the seasons, so we never got to see
'Cause-
Halfling.
I
Matt
half
chickened
considered
out.
playing them this season.
Chickened out. He went humans and still got destroyed.
Yeah, I didn't realise how bad they
Sorry,
were.
Matt. Well, I think they're especially bad against like 50 orcs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wouldn't.
Well,
feel
I was
too
reading
bad.
a guide on the halflings, and it seems like you can have them with 3 trees, which sounds like quite a good thing.
Yeah, so you could start with 2, and because they're so cheap, you probably have got enough TV inducement to hire a star player tree.
Oh, right.
Right, and you can have cheaper star players, and you get your what's it, the halfling chef.
Master chefs, so yeah.
So
You
between
could do
having
some
3
interesting gank with
trees
them.
and taking out your opponent's rerolls, you could have a win potentially.
Yeah, it's an attrition thing. Though I think you with halflings you're generally happy. If you get a tie, you should be joyous.
That's the next one.
And finally, last but not least, we have Tom's Dark Elves, which are definitely Dark Elves and not Orcs.
Oh, yeah.
Was
Very
there some-
bad orcs.
Surprise, guys! They're all orcs.
that is
Yeah. They pull off their like masks, and it's like, oh shit, they're orcs.
Yeah, I am quite worried. Well, not worried. I mean, yeah, scared, worried. I guess worried is the word. Just because I didn't think the rest of the league I was in would be so bashy.
They're kind of bashy elves, though, aren't they? Is that fair
Yeah,
to say?
Dark Elves are the bashiest Elven team.
Yeah.
You can do quite
They look
well
like
with
a
them.
fun team to play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were the team I
I-
played in season 1, and I have to say I had a lot of fun with them.
Yeah.
And they still have pretty good agility, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
agility 4, like all elves, but
Right. So
But I'm just not used to how expensive every single player is. It's insane.
Hmm.
yeah, because you're
They're
you're
like-
you don't want
also,
to die. And
you're
yeah,
also-
it's not a good one for survivability by the looks of things so far.
yeah, 'cause you're also in the 2 rerolls and having more positional players.
Yeah. I mean, I literally couldn't afford a 4th blitzer because usually I just like give up as many rerolls as possible to get a good team. But
Hmm.
yeah, there we go.
Killy.
Yeah, my naming thing was just what would an orc call them essentially.
My favourite part of your thing is where at the bottom it said normally it says gone but not forgotten, but you've got squished and good riddance.
Christian good riddance.
That is very
Nice.
good.
You truly are an orc at heart, aren't you?
Yeah, he is. I also really like
they're
the
just my
Dwarf shame,
favourite
Orc
thing.
shame.
I did want to call the second one or possibly Morg Shame, but it was obviously way too long.
Yeah.
That's a real like Warhammer joke that if you haven't played it, you're just not gonna get
I didn't get it, so
it.
well done.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so
So,
were we supposed to make predictions throughout this podcast? Because I feel like
Well,
It's definitely a
Less-
predictions.
you see the tab on the thing that says predictions?
Yes.
That is a good place to make predictions.
Oh,
Right.
I've never seen this tab before.
Oh, I see.
Uh,
Are we actually betting?
We're
Can we?
writing down. We're writing down. If you want to make any bets between yourselves, that is entirely out of my view.
Okay.
Uh, I think
Are
there
there
was.
police listening or something? What's going on?
It's going to be public and in some
I think
places.
what we can do because we've got a sheet and I'll put it in the chat as well. That if you want to make whoever is closest in terms of their prediction, then next season they can have one SVP on a randomly assigned player.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I'm gonna bet the whole of my. I'm gonna bet the deeds to my house
Oh,
on
shit.
Seems reasonable.
on who's the new guy? The guy with the ogre.
Jack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quick,
Oh, yeah.
I've
I
really
think
got a
I
problem.
should.
question: do you actually own
Yeah.
the deeds to your house?
No, I don't. It's my parents' house.
Yeah, I'll take that bet.
So I think what we might do then is if we skip the season placing and go on to the sort of rounds 1 to 5 placing and then see how we're doing for time. Because we've got the season predictions and people can chat about that and things in a second. But
Oh, did we want
yeah.
to talk quickly about stadium upgrades as well, though, or not?
I can't remember half of them, but
It's only going to be the people that are here because obviously it's not in the spreadsheet. But
so I got the one of the ones that's like no writing. I had the option for a wizard, but I ended up re-rolling it because I thought in this league I'm probably one of the more. Well, I was one of the more bashy at the time before Thomas switched to Chaos Dwarf, and thought I don't really want wizards against me if I'm trying to cage up so much.
Oh, Wizards again. Yeah, of course, because it works both ways, doesn't
yeah,
it? Because that is the point, though. We had home and away games, and they rarely made a difference. So
Yeah,
it would,
there were teams that it mattered against, like particularly when again in season 3 when
Goblins.
Lachlan was Goblins and I was Underworld. We were both doing stuff with that. Otherwise, yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty minimal. So, but we'll try out the season. Next season, we'll have
Yeah.
a chat about if we want to continue that or do something else.
The thing about a wizard is that it can be completely game changing. So it'll be interesting to see how some of it play. Like it could be like the most frustrating thing. You could have the best game ever, and then someone just whacks out their
Well, it's one
upgrade.
big swing in a game,
Yeah.
and it can work and it cannot work.
It has never worked for me.
Really?
I don't know if anyone else has had like a positive experience with a
I
wizard.
had a
similar boat.
awful
The
experience
Thunderbolt.
with the wizard.
Thunderbolt's good.
Well,
Yeah.
Matthew, you prevented me from scoring with a Thunderbolt in our one game last season. It saved you a score.
I think I lost still though.
You did lose the game, but you you stopped me
But
scoring an extra
Every
one on
time
you.
I've used
Small
it, it's never
victories,
made.
Matt.
No,
Small
but it's never
victories.
made it. In the whole kind of sense of the game, it's never made enough of a difference for me to sort of feel like it's been worth it.
I think Thunderbolt's at 83%. So it's like
Yeah.
especially if you're like Elves or something like that, you can just like take out the ball carrier and potentially grab the ball and run off, and that can just completely win the game. Or you can get someone out the way and then run in to score. It's that sort of thing.
I mean, I actually tend to use that one just because of timing and when it's happened. And I still just I personally don't like it.
I actually had it once and didn't use it in the game. I just forgot to use it, and luckily still won. But yeah,
Even if you don't use it
Didn't
though,
need
it's
it.
more of, it stops everyone else using cages.
Yeah,
So that's
true.
almost more than like the fear
Almost
of it
more valuable.
is bigger.
Especially as Skaven when I was that's a big thing.
Yeah, I had a wizard in my playoff game against Lachlan, and it would have come in extremely handy, but I rolled a 1 on the lightning bolt, and it ended up failing. It was
So upsetting.
very
Just made us-
frustrating.
hair stand.
They're also quite high cost if you buy them as an inducement.
Region. Well, yeah, I did buy it as an inducement because I had such lower team value.
Yeah, because
I've always-
if you think about it, you could
disappointing.
hire like a mercenary troll for about 150k as well.
Yeah, it probably would have been better to do something like that.
as a opportunity cost.
It does
I've always-
depend though, because it can be the difference between scoring and not scoring, or
Oh,
like
yeah, it's
turning over.
it's something that the rest of your team just can't mimic. The
Yeah.
closest is like a Goblin Bombardier.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, James, you haven't got a stadium upgrade yet, I'm presuming.
No,
Cool.
I like to play mysteriously.
Fair enough. I mean, you are technically beyond the deadline, so we could
Yeah.
start, finding you at this stage.
I'm kind of a bit like Brazil. Will they be in time for the Olympics, or won't they? And the answer is probably not. So
Matt and Tom, what have you got?
Squig sandwiches.
Oh
excuse
yes.
me? Got some
Yeah,
sandwiches.
so I have Astrogranite. I rolled Astrogranite first. I had the option of a reroll with the rules we set out, and I was very pleased.
What does that do?
If anyone runs, so going for it, if they fall over, it's +1 on the injury.
Trying to work out if that's
It's the best one for a Bashy team, definitely. Because if I'm going against an Elf
It's
team
in-
or whatever,
I'd say like for I think because you've got skinks, it's all right for you because you're not going to do a lot of going for it. I found
I'm
oh wait, you
Orcs,
are
yeah,
Orcs.
But
Yeah.
this is
You are Orcs. No, that's awful for Orcs because you do so many going for it because you've got low. You barely got
well,
any
it
movement.
depends how you play, doesn't it? I mean, I might not be doing any.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But also,
It's
You
an
might
interesting.
not be doing any movement. I refuse to try and score.
but also, I mean, if I'm going for it with anyone, it'll be the thrower because of his speed, like you're saying earlier. But also, don't forget, I'm in Division 2, and the way that we set this up previously is that rounds 6 through 9, lower divisions are always at home.
Mhm.
So I will have Astrogranite for every match.
I guess if people are trying to actively stay away from some of your bashier players, maybe it is good because they'll maybe try and go for it to get away from you. I don't know. I think it's a double-edged sword, but I guess all of them are.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going for it's are the worst when you fail because it is just really upsetting.
Well, it's a well-known fact that if you make a going for it roll to score, you will always fail, and if you have a re-roll, it will never help.
Yes, it's so sad.
And yet,
And because it's 83%, you think that it should be successful every single time. Of course, that's not how.
It just isn't
Yeah, it's just not how that
because
works.
numbers.
Yeah.
Unless you're
Yeah.
Thomas, though, like Thomas with his gutter runners. Yeah, his one-touch touchdowns were horrific.
the odds were
And then
always
you play against James, and then James would do go through one tackle zone and get like dead. His player would just die, and then you play against Thomas, and he'd run past 9 of your players to score with nothing.
He's definitely a cheater. I'm calling it. He's a
He
scumbag,
recoded
and
the
he
game.
knows it. Yeah, he definitely worked on the development team for Blood Bowl 2 just to get at me. I know. I'm not paranoid. This is definitely what happened.
What I love about this is that I remember in season 3, Thomas was really calling James out for going high elves and not having a big guy on the team, and I feel like this is James's revenge coming back in now. He's back on the podcast.
Thomas, from the first moment we interact with each other, we have not liked each other. Like, he's not a very nice person. And I'm just gonna put that out there, and he deserves to lose everything to his name. And I hope at the very least he loses all of his team in this Blood Bowl season. Just
having the same name of him, I just feel like it was directed at me. Even though,
I'm sorry.
especially as I've just bet my mother's house on.
Oh, your mother's house?
Yeah.
Oh, that's new information. I'm not sure. Should we get your... this is like Jeremy Carl. Let's get your mother in and see what she has
And
to think
she's
of it.
here tonight.
Yeah. And she wants a DNA test to finally see if she can get rid of you.
Mum, I literally came out of you. Like,
You
I'm
were
not
there.
sure. I'm still not sure.
Yeah.
So moving swiftly on, Mike,
Oh.
Did you get? Have you rolled for your stadium upgrade?
Carrying on with my sort of run of doing my homework whilst in class, I have just rolled a 4, which I think comes out as a referee rest area, which I do not want to accept. What am I?
You can re-roll it once, but you'd have to. You can re-roll it once.
Yeah.
you can't go back to the first one, but you don't have to have a stadium upgrade if you don't
That's all.
want one. Yeah.
Cool.
If you wish
roll
to
again
change
right
your
now.
if you wish to change your stadium upgrade, you do have to pay the full 200k for future reference for everyone. So
Okay, so right, I could have a 2 instead. Well, I've done the reroll, so it could be a 2. What is that?
I think that's the same one I had. I think that's there's no pitch invasions and something else.
Yeah, so that comes with a security gate. The riot and pitch invasion kickoff events are cancelled.
That's a great one. I love that one.
Oh, yeah, that is nice. It makes it more reliable, at the very least.
I kind of
feel
like it
like
when
that
that one
might-
happens, but
That might play in my advantage in this game.
It's nice when it happens to you.
There's a chance it will, destroy my opponent's team. It could also destroy my team. I don't know.
Exactly.
I think I probably have a better chance of scoring and playing well with a reduced team than, well, I've sort of elves in my league, so it's about 50-50. I think I'm just going to leave it out. I'm going to go with no enhancement.
fair enough.
I definitely didn't want the bribe area because I don't think I can sustain too many injuries on my team.
Yeah.
That's Kislev. I think they're not particularly. I think they're all armor value 8 again.
I think you want less
weak
pain, generally speaking.
Yeah, less pain, more gain if I can have it.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. As a t-shirt with that slogan would.
I always feel like Kislev Circus, they've turned up as a booking error. Like they didn't. They were like, "We're here to entertain." What the fuck is?
Yeah.
going on here? I think that's a fair way to.
I can do a backflip.
Yeah. Da-da-da. What do you think, guys? And it just gets immediately smashed by an ogre. Yeah.
So
I don't know how this is going to go. I'm not going to use those stadium enhancements though. I think we're going to go for nothing.
fair enough. So
Okay.
taking some predictions at the first 5 rounds. So you don't have to make a prediction on a game you're in, though you're free to make a prediction if you want to. We'll start by saying that we have had one game played already, which was myself versus
I
Lachlan.
bet you will win.
I knew someone was going to make that joke. That's why I was trying to cut it off.
Oh, I could sense that you were trying to avoid it, so that's why I jumped in as soon as I could.
But yes, that was a 2-1 win for myself.
Well done.
Thank you.
Hooray.
So starting off, we have
Elves lose.
James versus Thomas is the first game. Or
Yikes.
if you're listening. So we've got Wood Elves versus Kales Dwarves. I feel this is probably actually slightly favoured towards towards Wood Elves.
Okay.
Albeit that we don't know what James's starting lineup is, so it's kind of hard to say for certain.
Got 5 players.
I've got 5
I think of all the star players you can afford with that extra money.
Yeah.
We're just very confident. I just
Yes.
think that Thomas doesn't deserve to win, so that will help me with Nuffle. Yeah.
I think I'm going to go for James on this one as well. You having played, you've been at Skaven for 2 seasons now. I think you're probably pretty good at using the agility teams.
Actually, I want to take back my prediction just because Thomas's last 7 games, I think it was, in the last season were all against Wood Elves. All against my Wood Elves. Yes.
7.
Because it was the
And
last.
he was Orcs, wasn't he? Yes.
Yeah, he was. It was the last round of the regular season, the eliminator match, and then a best of 3. Okay, it's the last 5. Were all
But he
against
lost,
Wood
right?
Elves. So if there's any, he did. But if there's one, they were. I mean, he did. Sorry, he didn't win.
Yeah.
But I think he only lost 2 of them, and then there were 3 draws, and some of those were very close as well. So I feel like if anyone's figured out Wood Elves by now, it should be Thomas. So I'm gonna switch to Kales Dwarf with a sort of 1-0 win.
Yeah, thanks, Ian.
I still think James has the edge here, just because the team's both undeveloped at this point. And I think as long as you make space, James, and actually try to, obviously, don't be afraid of combat, but just create that space.
You sound like a primary school teacher.
Don't be afraid, James. It'll be all right.
Yeah. Don't be afraid.
My primary school teachers never told me not to be afraid of combat.
Yeah, rip out their hearts.
Again, the not being invited to parties.
yeah. Yeah, it was all the blood loss that the other
Are we still
children
on?
suffered. Yeah, I think so.
There was a little ding noise a little minute ago. I don't know what that was.
It still says it's recording.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I can't vote for elves because I hate elves, which is
what?
kind of confusing for me. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go for.
Having a
I'm gonna
serious
go for
identity
Really conflicted,
crisis.
aren't you? It's very bad.
Yeah. That's why he's a dark elf. He's just like he's.
Yeah, just
You don't
hates
understand
himself.
me.
Yeah.
You're like an emo
Yeah.
elf. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna change my names now to something emo related.
Yeah. My chemical orc. I don't know.
But the orcs have nothing to do with it.
My chemical identity crisis,
My chemical
which is also
identity.
very,
Yeah.
topical, shall we say?
Panic at the
Might struggle
elf
to get
disco.
that. Struggle to get in. But next up, we've got Matt's Orcs versus Mike's Kislev. And I would say that's probably a 2-0 to Matt, because I think it's very Kislev. I think round 10, or whenever this match is reversed, I'll probably be going for Mike. But I think Orcs start off as one of the best developed teams. Kislev don't, and Kislev take a while to learn as well.
I think
But what
Mike
if
is.
Mike's really sneaky? I think if he's sneaky.
I mean, I'm not discounting.
Yeah,
this is
that's
a
a good idea.
prediction.
I think I will be sneaky. That's a good.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. He's going to be sneaky. Oh,
He's going to
definitely
be
Mike then.
sneaky.
Yeah.
Watch out, everyone.
Gonna have 12 players. I think he'll score. But I think, yeah, if Matt's playing it right as Orcs, it's going to be 1-0 to Matt because that is the way.
I won't be playing
I
it
would
that
very
way.
much like to win this match.
I just think remember your training. Do lots of stretches before the game starts, Mike, and just
Be sneaky.
just be nice and sneaky and just jump
I
a
haven't-
lot. And just see
Be
what
a
happens.
sneaky boy.
Use the
Sneak and
dice.
jump.
Use the dice. Like just
Use
hope
the
for the best
dice.
and jump a little bit more than maybe you should.
Hold on. Could you
And don't
speak
get
a bit? So
hit.
I'm taking notes here. I just gotta keep up.
Yeah. So be
Sneaky.
sneaky. Remember, sneaky. That's the key word.
Sneaky. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, if you like go to Matt's house and start shouting "boo" outside the window, every
Yeah.
time he's about to take a
Do
I
turn,
was just about to say, you don't know where I live.
What I
but
should
think
do is
everyone's
just
doing
wake
it.
his children. I do know where you live. I really do. I just need to wake your children up in the middle of a game and
I
disturb
could do the same to you.
All right. Leave the children out of this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I guess
Everyone-
before things get too violent, Tom versus Gummer. So Dark Elves versus Goblins. I think I always vote basically everyone, but
It's gotta be
versus-
Dark Elves.
It's got to be Dark Elves, yeah.
Tom.
Like
as well.
Gummer's gonna do some damage, but
I think a 3-0 on that game.
Because Tom's armor, so Tom has better armor than most elves, so that could be an advantage. And then just don't lose, I guess. He should
Just
win?
don't lose.
Yeah,
I think this was.
going to be trying to kill that witch elf, which would be wonderful if it happens. And but 3-0 to Gummer. Sorry, not to Gummer. 3-0 to the elves.
3-0. Wow. Yeah.
I think 3-0. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have limited expectations just because I've never played anything but Bash,
Yeah.
and it's like playing a whole new game. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I
You're
think
gonna
you'll be
love
able to do a fairly bashy playstyle in this game, though, because I think you
Yeah.
outstrength goblins, don't you?
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. If I've got a chance to get guard, I'm going to get guard on everything I possibly can. But yeah, no, yeah. I'll go Bashy. Of course I will.
Guard is a good thing as
Yeah.
well for elves.
I don't think guard actually helps versus goblins in
No.
particular because all of their strength are like strength 7.
In general.
But yes, guard.
Especially when you've got high movement speed, where you can just run someone in between two players, and where you've got like contact, you can
is
just push
good.
them away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am going to try and be less like. I did spam guard too much last season. Whatever season I was in last.
That was a joke.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't like when people do that in games in general. So I'm going to try and be more experimental this season.
Just lean into your emo side and be a bit more experimental.
Be edgy.
Yeah, try
Just
something
wouldn't
new with
turn
your
up.
hair. Yeah, maybe paint one of your nails black or something.
Ooh, God, that guy's edgy.
Yeah, damn.
But
Okay.
finishing off round 1, we've got Jack versus David, and Ogres
Ooh.
versus Lizard. I can see Ogres causing problems for like 10 turns or so.
Yeah,
I think if Lizardmen get ahead, Ogres won't be able to catch up. Whereas if Ogres get ahead, Lizardmen will be able to. So this seems like I can
I
see this
feel
being a
like-
draw, but I feel like David's Lizardman
You-
team is basically a better Ogre team.
yeah.
Yeah,
The,
it's kind of
um,
50-50, isn't it? With the
The only thing is the skinks will have something to bully. Like they'll be able basically
That's
you
funny.
put all your lizards and your big lizard on the ogres. There'll be too many for them, and then just run your skinks round and just kill the rest of them.
It is
'Cause
a
they'll-
weird thing for Lizards that the Saurus are the ones getting beat up, and the Skinks are the ones doing the punching in this match potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, should be fun.
Yeah. I mean, David's going to win this, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, everyone should technically be ogres, but apart from the odd occasion.
I think
where
it'll
they
be
won't.
quite an interesting game to watch, that one, with the ogres and the lizardmen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So round 2, starting off with Thomas's Kales Dwarves versus Lachlan's High Elves. I feel like this is a pretty reasonable matchup for Lachlan. I feel like High Elves can, with their sort of reliable throwing, get around Kales Dwarves' defense very well. So I'm going to go Lachlan to win this one.
Just the thing is, though, if he gets a few removals, then because I don't think Lachlan's going to remove any of the Chaos Dwarves. So yeah, if he loses a few players, could quite quickly escalate into a win for Thomas. I think because Chaos Dwarfs, they're sneaky.
They're not.
They're not
re-
that sneaky. They're really they're
they
quite.
are a steel wall of pain.
They are not sneaky whatsoever. I want to apologise to the Chaos Dwarfs for my rude statements there.
Yeah, I think that might be like a 1-1 draw. I think the Chaos Dwarves, when they get that ball, the High Elves aren't going to be able to touch it. And I don't know. We'll have to see, but I think Thomas will be pretty good at holding back the Elves.
Yeah, interesting.
Again, my issue with like elves, so I'm just going to go Thomas.
Oh,
Just don't like them.
fair enough. Gosh,
Matt?
racism. But fair enough.
Yeah, so I think I think this is a hard one to say personally. I think
Yes.
probably High Elves ultimately.
Oh, come on, Matt. What
I'm
is it?
taking it very personally whenever Elves are given a win in prediction. So next up, we've got Mike's Kislev versus my Necromantic.
I think Necromantic take it there.
Start off by saying I don't really know a lot about either team. in this
Probably
situation.
necromantic. But again, like if Mike is a sneaky little bastard, then he could jump over a few because you could have a nice defense, and then he just gets a good roll and scores a couple of times, and maybe you fumble the ball in the last couple of moments.
You realise,
or something.
James, that
I like
this
your
is
confidence,
predicting what.
James.
Huh?
I
What's
appreciate
that?
your confidence in my ability to get good rolls.
But that's the thing. Like sometimes, if dice roll is the difference between winning or losing, it's like
Have you ever
Mike.
played this game before?
But that's the thing, because Mike's skills mean that you can just like jump over everything and run off. Then that means that a good dice moment could win you the game. Whereas
Sure,
like
I think that's true with
versus,
everyone,
like,
though. Really,
well, not so much, because like Euan might not be able to would have to roll like dozens of good dice for the same sort of.
Well, I mean the werewolves obviously they have frenzy as standard, don't they? Yeah, so like
Yes, that's cool.
you're pushing into things that you're not going to have too much issue, I don't think. I think the necromantic have the edge.
No.
The werewolves are fast enough. With frenzy, obviously, if used well, then you're kind of creating different spaces. So even if there's like on the kind of defense, you're able to kind of push through anyway. In reverse, I guess if you're defending, you could be jumped over. But again, werewolves are quick. The wights can run around, and then you're relying on sort of dodging and jumping and dodging, or if you're doing leap to get out. So, and I think that's a risky tactic.
What is the werewolf's move allowance?
8.
8. Oh yeah, that is pretty fast.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like 7. Like, yeah, it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah,
8
I think
is
so.
a lot.
one of the quickest players.
Very
in the game.
fast.
Up
That's
there
crazy.
with up there with most of the elf-like catchers, but slower than Skaven gutter runners. I think is there.
Yeah.
I think one of the best.
I think
players.
any time.
I was just
Sorry?
saying, yeah, I agree. The werewolves are the best player characters, some of the best. War dancers, probably the other
Yeah,
one.
they're great. I think anytime Euan's got a half decent team, I'd always vote. Kind of just vote for Euan. Even when he's playing me, to be honest, yeah, it's horrific playing Euan at all times, and I think he's going to cover for any leaps.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, I'd go for Euan.
Yeah.
It's very kind of you to
I-
say. I really fluffed against that when I was playing against Lachlan. But
Okay, then I go for Mike. There we go.
He
Because he's sneaky.
is.
Yeah, I do not expect to win this game as much as I would like to.
So next we've got James versus Tom. So that is Wood Elf versus Dark Elf.
I think Wood Elves.
Sorry,
What?
Tom.
I think Dark Elves. And
Again, I
straight
think-
head to head.
The thing is, you could hit me.
Yeah, but again, I think Wood Elves. If you're worried about the bash, well, it depends how you build your team. But I'm assuming you'll have a tree, which will be helpful on that kind of side of things, as long as it doesn't just get left on the
James said he's not
It's
taking a
not
tree.
taking tree.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that's
will
what he
eventually.
said, yeah.
I will take a tree,
Oh,
but
so you
not
won't have it by round
immediately, 'cause
2.
I don't think it's. I need to look into
Right.
it
Okay.
again. But yeah.
If you don't have one in round 1, you won't have a tree in round
It
round
won't
2.
make enough money. Yeah.
Unless you've gone for a really weird thing where you've decided not to have a tree, but have like 70, 80k left
Yeah,
over or
with
something.
like no rerolls or something.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, I think as long as you're creating,
Makes me feel
I think
more
with Wood Elves, as
secure.
long as you're sort of creating the space and making sure that you're not too, I think you'll be fine. I think Wood Elves have that slight edge, but yeah.
What edge do they have? Do they have a higher agility? Do they have
Higher speed.
Yeah, and
higher speed?
they've also got higher agility with the War Dancer, which is a leap character with agility 4.
Whereas the Dark Elves have got that witch up. Yeah.
They've got armor 7.
Yeah, I think
Wood Elf.
Dark Elves are better at making space. Wood Elves are typically better at taking space, and I think in that particular head-to-head, Dark Elves, I think Dark Elves also start off slightly better developed, and Wood Elves end up better developed. So
Yeah,
I think
the Dark Elves are going to be wanting
Dark
to
Elves-
not particularly create that space, though, are they? They're going to want to try and shut the Wood Elves down.
Those Dark Elves are going to want to be doing as much hitting as they can, probably, to start with.
And if there's one thing we know is that Tom
Yep.
really likes hitting people in the face. So
I'm starting to wonder though, because I'm going against Chaos Dwarves, and then
And you can take that
what
tree
is
up
Euan
right
again?
away.
Necromantic. Like maybe I should have a tree earlier, because then it's necromantic as
Yeah, I
well.
mean, just bear in mind, obviously, your tree, if it gets left alone, it's pretty useless.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
and you want to be sort of trying to keep it there for tying people down. So, which you'll be able to do with dwarves, but obviously, will you be able to do it with elves?
Well, that's the
That's it.
question.
But next up, we have Gummer's Goblins versus David's Lizards. And I think this is actually a very good matchup for Goblins. I think it's a struggle to say they'll win, but Goblins have the sort of thing that can really, really frustrate Lizards. So I think I'm going with a draw for this one. And probably
Why-
a nil-all draw in Gummer's favour, actually.
Why do they particularly annoy lizards?
Well, Lizard likes to punch their way through teams, and then you've got this
Right.
game they got this game to do things. Goblins can absolutely meet them on the line. They can
Yeah.
dodge into cages and get to the skinks if they really have to.
Yeah. Okay.
And if a skink or a saurus does go down, then if they gang foul them, it really hurts the lizard team more so than other teams.
Yeah.
So yeah, lizard men, like, they're definitely a better team than goblins, no question. But I think in the particular head-to-head, I kind of rate goblins.
They also
Ooh,
Maybe at
exciting.
the start when you've got the you've got your sauruses without any block.
Yeah,
They can be an absolute liability. I remember like the first time I played Euan as lizards, and I didn't have block on anyone. Just the first turn, did a skull and a both down, and then a skull and a both down, and it was just I couldn't do anything. So that was a fun one. That's what you need against Euan.
The Saurus are a lot like the Black Orcs, aren't they? In their style,
yes,
apart from having lower agility.
yeah. Even though agility
and-
but quicker.
Yeah, they're all movement 6.
Oh, it is
Yeah,
annoying.
and no
They're
block or any
movement
skills to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was caught out early on with my Black Orcs without block in the first season, or last season.
Yeah, you did pretty well last season, though, didn't you?
Yeah, overall, but I definitely had to learn not to go always blocking with the Black Orcs, which was my initial thought. Oh, these are the strong guys. Let's go and smash with them, and then realizing that actually not having block kind of, I'd be better off hitting with the blitzers, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's nice.
But yeah, rounding out round 2, we have Matt's Orcs versus Jack's Ogres.
Matt, all day.
Yeah, it's
It would
Ogres
be
again.
so
They can
funny.
catch. Oh,
One
mean-
turn.
I mean, ogres can cause orcs problems because they can meet their muscles head on, and if they can, maybe if they get lucky with throwing a goblin, or Noblar even, then they can put orcs under sort of time pressure. But yeah, orcs will still win the attrition war. They'll take out the Noblars eventually.
Yeah, my greatest worry in that match
And
is
I expect
having
that.
a Noblar just run around everyone, and then not being able to sort of chase it down. That's
I don't think that's even a.
They're not very
no, but
fast.
they're very
Though.
dodgy, aren't
No,
they?
you're quicker than them. Yeah, they're
It's
very
that
dodgy.
element.
I mean, we've
yeah,
all seen
and
the
so
Noblar
me
up,
trying
but,
to, for instance, hit them. If I don't get it goes down. Well, maybe I'll just use a blitzer, and then hopefully I'll get both down.
Yeah.
But
I think
I'm kind of concerned about
If you
them,
keep
dodging out the way as I hit them with with a blitz, and then they run again, and then they score.
But then they get injured if you do hit them. It's like.
But that's if I
it's
actually
almost
hit them,
difficult
because
to lose.
that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Is the trying to hit
Yeah.
them and just like dodging.
What I think you might find though is that he barely has any Noblars left by the end of the first half. So
Yes.
I think actually half of the game is like just killing all of his players, apart from the ogres, and then
Yes.
basically.
as an orc, that's your tactic in every game. So
Yeah, true. It just feels more satisfying.
So round 3, we have James's Wood Elves versus my Necromantic. Start us off.
Oh. Come on, feed my ego.
Come
Tell
on,
me
James.
I'm better than you. And
I think what you need, James, in this game is just to be sneaky, and you should pull it.
yeah, I've heard of that tactic before. Actually, yeah, I've heard that come.
So if James is sneaky, I'm going to give him the 2-1
I think
win.
both teams have a real chance. But again, I'm just going to say the same things for Wood Elves. Like Wood Elves, if they create that space, like if they actually get into space and avoid the conflict, then they'll win every time. I think. Obviously, as soon as a werewolf hits one of your elves, it's probably gone. With claws, obviously, and you've got no armor anyway.
Well, claws.
Oh, of course,
help
yeah, it's
against
standard, isn't
Wood
it?
Elves and
Yeah, I
Strikers.
forgot that. It's plus.
Yeah.
It's just every roll is the same, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it makes your armor
Yeah.
7, but elves are already armor 7, so
Yeah, no,
who cares?
that's a good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about that. So yeah, actually, no worries from a kind of Wood
Blitz
Elf
that
guy.
werewolf every time, though, won't you?
I mean, just worries about every
Yeah,
team.
standard
basically.
worry.
But yeah, just standard worry, just a baseline.
That's
of
I think why I've said the
anxiety
same thing every
all
time
the
with Wood Elves. just make sure you're not like getting killed.
Yeah.
A baseline of anxiety is quite a good name for the podcast.
Yeah, maybe
Rebrand.
yeah. A baseline of tangents should be me.
I think I'm gonna put aside my my hate for elves and vote for Euan.
Wait, what?
That went on a journey.
Now that was sneaky. Okay, all right, fair enough.
Next up, we have
Don't give logic
Lachlan's,
or anything.
we have Lachlan's High Elves versus Mike's Kislev Circus.
Kislev all day.
Oh, this is a
Oh,
weird
yes.
one to call.
Thank you.
So what is it? It's Mike versus Lachlan.
I think by round 3,
Ooh.
the Kislev have worked out that they're not just here to entertain the fan with some juggling, and they're going to turn it on and
Bit of
start
leaping and prancing.
Yeah, leaping, less leaping, less prancing, and more sneaky. I think that's the.
Oh, sneaking.
It's the word of the word of the podcast. Yeah, I think High Elves, if played well and relatively conservatively, should win. But Kislev can just pull things off. I think they can do a bit of a wood elf. And
The other thing about
over.
Kislev, which I've just remembered, is that very long legs, besides helping with leaping, is also helping with interception. So I think that might be against High Elves.
Even then, though, I find if you're passing correctly, you should typically, unless you're really desperate, I think the High Elves, you can clear a bit of a path and then pass. It should be fine. I think High Elves.
I'm going with Lachlan for this one.
Yeah.
I think as well, Lachlan is the most experienced Kislev player.
I don't know what I should do.
Yeah, so I think he'll play against their other unique play style better than most.
Yeah.
Has anyone noticed that for a team where every single player has very long legs, none of them have very long legs?
Oh.
Well, they're always jumping about is the logic for that. And if all their animations are jumping side to side the whole time.
Well, I still think it should be very average legs.
Well, I was reading
very capable
development.
legs,
Not just average, very average legs.
Yeah.
Very average legs.
Very average. Well,
apparently they were supposed to be a frog
upper
team,
average.
but they got remade as a
Yeah, they were slan.
Oh really?
It's weird because the slan are actually big toads in the lore, but they were little toads in Blood Bowl originally. But
that's hilarious.
Bring that back.
It's a shame.
They're secretly frogs in disguise.
So next up we have Gummers Goblins versus Thomas's Kales Dwarves. This seems like a massively favoured thing for Kales Dwarves, even regarding the power difference. So this is like a 3-0 to Thomas.
Yeah, because he's also going to kill them.
Yeah.
Tackle as well, yeah.
I think I'm not going to vote any time for the Goblins until the second half of the season, where they get just so many inducements, they're actually a nightmare to play against.
That can be a thing, yeah.
I'm assuming Gum will play them in the same way to how Lachlan played them previously, where he just tried to soup them up with as much inducement money. At the bloat. Stay at 1,000.
I think that's the way to do it.
What do we think? Yeah, I mean, I think Thomas should win this. I mean, he should. Everyone should win against Goblins, but it doesn't always go to plan. I think that's the moral of the story.
Yeah, we'll see how that Spiteful Moomin team kills everybody.
Oh yeah, I would be very surprised if Gummer didn't end the season with the highest point count. Then we've got Tom versus Jack, Dark Elves versus Ogres. Again, this seems very Dark Elf favoured to me. They can neuter the Goblins well, pick on the Noblars.
I think that Tom Clark, because he hates his own team so much, he's going to sabotage and just...
I'm going to finish the whole season on... minus 20 touchdowns.
Trying to prove a point.
Yeah.
He's destroying the elves from the inside.
14
Oh,
concedes in a row.
Yeah.
That Tom C, he's so edgy, man.
Yeah. He just stayed up in his room all night. He didn't even play.
Yeah, I just let the timer go down 4 minutes a time.
Because time is meaningless anyway, so may as well.
Oh man,
That's so deep.
dark, dude.
Dark. So dark elf.
Last game in round 3. We've got the big muscle up.
and
We've got
David.
David. David's Lizard
Grudge
and
match.
Dogs.
I have to go for the Orcs, and it's
Oh.
Yeah.
Orcs,
I'm going for Matt's Orcs, basically because Matt always seems to beat David.
That's my last win.
Although
Is that
Big Brother, that is imperative.
The one that matters the most.
It's got more
I'm
writing
sort
on
of
it.
quietly confident as well with previous Lizard experience.
Oh, okay. You sound overly confident now. I'm changing mine to David.
Oh, fair enough.
I can't cope with that level of
I
arrogance.
said quietly confident.
Cold-blooded.
You said it quite loudly, though.
Quietly
Yeah.
confident.
Yeah. Bit of an oxymoron there.
Yeah, I think if Matt wins his first 2 games and David loses his first 2 games, then David just wins this one.
Oh.
But otherwise, yeah, Matt Matt is favourite.
I'm trying to think what lizard men really have against orcs, because
They can match them for
dodge, I
physicality.
guess. Yeah.
Match them physically, and the skinks are obviously something that
Yeah.
can be very tough for orcs.
Yeah.
I think that he's going to be able to
Could
manage
be.
them.
I think on defense, though, yeah, I feel like Matt would probably win still. It just depends. Yeah. I think it's fairly evenly matched, actually, maybe.
If Matt gets to the skinks, which it's not that difficult to do.
Okay.
Just having one blitzer in reserve is going to make all the difference against those little runarounds, because you can always hit him with that.
Who knows? I've never played Orcs
Yeah.
before. I could
Oh,
be
but I
terrible.
just-
I could lose everything.
That's true.
Always possible.
Wait, can I look at your? Wait, I just want to look at your team one more time
Yeah,
before
I've got
I.
a troll and a
That's
goblin.
against the rules, man. You can't look at the teams.
Before you commit to a prediction there, yeah.
I'm going to take it back just because you've only got 11 players and you've got a goblin and a thrower. I don't think you've got enough armor to cope with the lizard.
This is game 4, though, isn't
Three.
it?
Last of 3.
Oh, 3. Yeah.
I think at this point, lizards might have a slight advantage. So I'm going to go for David. Sorry about
Fine. I mean, I thought you loved.
I'm going to go
Orcs,
for
but
the
never
one
mind.
anyway. 4 black orcs. Thank you.
He's becoming more dark elf by the minute.
that.
He's being taken over from the inside.
Oh, that's meta, man.
Round 4, we
No
have
one's
James's Wood Elves versus Lachlan's High Elves. I'm going to go James for this one.
Elves for that one. Yeah, me too.
I mean, assuming that my skill isn't as bad as it is, I should probably win this, but because Lachlan is a G at this game,
You've
I'm
actually
probably...
played this game before as well against me when I was Wood Elves, and I think you beat me. If you remember.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I remember you won at least one of them.
I think it was the last one in the season. We played each other last round, and you beat me, and it made a difference to whoever went through to the play.
Hey.
Oh yeah. It was the last turn of the last match of the season with about half the league watching, and it affected like 4 players' positioning. It was
Well, I've
last
got a
turn
few
of the
sneaky
game.
tricks up my
Yeah.
sleeve.
Then
so-
you were playing High Elves then. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think
It can happen. Magic can happen when the world is watching. But yeah, I do remember that. I think I pulled a fast one at the end there.
Which is what you want to do as elves.
Yeah, pretty much.
I just realised it's elves versus elves, so I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
You can vote for a draw.
0-0 draw.
Yeah, but then they still both get a point.
We could both lose, because we could both lose our favourite players or something, if that makes you feel better.
Yeah, there we
Yeah,
go.
that would be good.
Okay.
That would be good.
Lachlan really likes a foul as well. So
Oh, good. Can't wait.
I mean, Lachlan did just do a competition where the main criteria for winning it was fouling your opponent more. So
He's a complete psychopath, like deep down. He's such a nice, friendly person, but he's actually deep down quite psychotic.
So yeah, 1-1.
1-1, but like
No one
MVP are both
trying to
dead,
counter
yeah.
that.
Yeah. One, but a bloodbath.
Yeah.
But also it's elves, so I feel like they'll just be gently slapping each other, and then, or I think you could hurt an elf more by hurting his ego or something.
Yeah. Kind of
Love that
same
I
as-
love the fact that you're this down about the elves, and you are one this season.
And everyone
These
knows I
emo
don't have
elves.
any ego whatsoever.
You're such a suburban kid that hates his life.
You
Get
could never
over
be in the upper middle class.
Yeah. Yeah, you go on a holiday every year, but it's like somewhere within England. It's just not.
Next up, we've got Thomas's Kales Force versus Mike's Kislev. I think this is a good matchup for Kislev. So I think Mike by now will have the hang of Kislev, and I think he won't lose this at least. So this seems like a 1-0 to Kislev, or a 0, where just two teams batter the shit out of each other or stall the ball.
Yeah, I might lose some players in this one.
Yeah. I think that's the scariest thing about Chaos Dwarves. Like, they hurt people.
Yeah, they are mostly strength 3 though, aren't they?
Yeah, Chaos Dwarves aren't necessarily a team that go out and kill all your players, but they are a team that just really never seem to lose any. So it's more like punching a wall of iron rather than sort of getting obliterated the same way that a Norse
This
team
is where
might do to
the
you.
Kislev have that advantage, though, isn't it? Because they don't have to hit the wall; they can just jump around it.
Over it. If there's one thing they can do, it's jumping over walls. I'm gonna go for Mike on that one. I just really like the Kislev. I'm so biased with all of my predictions. Like, I like that team. I'm gonna vote for that. And I've got nothing to go on because I've never played Mike. So
next up, we have my Necromantic versus Jack's Ogres. This is my two rival game.
So Euan, actually, I'm going to have to say that
Ogres are definitely going to win.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, there's no way. Like, how could he lose? Like, what's the downside?
Those ogres are just going to kill the werewolves right away, and then it's easy
if the werewolves get killed, then maybe. But I still think Necromantic has the edge because even their strong, slow players are not as stupid as the ogres.
I think it's not going to be a full moon, and Euan's going to look like a right idiot when his werewolves are just humans.
Naked.
Yeah, naked humans.
Really ashamed of themselves. They can join my team.
yeah. Absolutely. Human emos. Yeah. But no, I think Euan will win this.
That was going to come, wasn't it? Yeah, if I had Euan. There we go.
We went on a journey there, didn't we?
Yeah, well.
Isn't it what it's all about?
You've got to embellish it when ogres are involved, you know. Gotta give Jack some positivity.
So next up we have Tom's Dark Elves versus David's Lizardmen.
Go for David on that one.
This is a tough one. I think this is favoured for Lizard. I think it's so hard for Dark Elves to deal with that much strength.
Yeah. Because I think especially, like, you just line up and then... what I found against Lizardmen is that I just couldn't... If it was the defense is too deep, I just, like, as in, like, 1-2 people stacked behind each other, like, I would manage to knock one Saurus over and then...
Yeah, you don't get any further.
Be able to do anything else.
I actually remember that game.
I was just
you were so angry.
I was livid because the whole game I was just like standing there watching you. It was a nightmare. It was so irritating.
I think David will play the Lizardmen very well.
The only weakness he has really again is the Skaven, and as long as he's not positioning them badly, I think then he's got a really good chance. And knowing David, he doesn't tend to place his players poorly.
I think as long as David doesn't try to have fun
Yeah,
in that game,
yeah.
like he'll win. Basically,
That is it.
That's
Yeah,
a
that's
very-
actually
yeah,
a
that's a
very
very good
accurate way of
point.
saying that. Yeah.
And let's be honest, none of us played.
yeah, this is not what
We
Blood
pay
Bowl
for
is
the-
all
we pay for
about.
the money.
Have you seen any game between me and Matt? There is no laughing.
yeah. Do not wake the children up during those games.
So
'Cause
to
they're
round
going
up,
to get neglected. Sorry.
to round up round 4, we've got Gummer's Goblins versus Matt's Orcs. I think this is a pretty reasonable prediction for Matt to win.
I feel
I
like
don't
Orcs,
think.
you know. Sorry.
I feel like Goblins can put like pressure on the Orcs with fanatics and things, but Orcs have got so high armor that I don't think Goblins are going to get the casualties they need, and then Orcs
That's
just
the
run
problem.
Goblins down.
Yeah.
I think like Lachlan did as good as you could possibly do with Goblins. And again, I haven't seen Gummer play, but as you know, he's only played one season. Is that it? Yeah, he played last season, right?
Yeah, played last season. One season in the league. He's done some real life Blood Bowl as well.
Oh, has he? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to go for Matt.
Yeah. Because, as you say, I just don't think he's going to get hurt that badly. Like, Matt's not going to get that hurt. So it's just the advantage is going to be to Matt, I think. Basically.
So round 5, last round of predictions. We've got James's Wood Elves versus Mike's Kislev.
Oh, Kislev.
What do y'all think? Oh, fuck you, Tom.
Yeah. I think we're both going to be sneaking around each other in this game.
Oh, that's going to be a ton. Yeah. It'd be like
It'll
Strictly
certainly be a
Come
good game.
Dancing,
That'll be
we're
a good
just
game
gonna
to watch.
leaping around. And,
Yeah.
It'll be a
And the,
show. It'll be a
Can
show.
the players please come out of the locker room?
Yeah.
We already did.
Yeah. Whoa.
The commentators
Yeah.
have nothing to commentate
Yeah.
on.
It'll be like a flash
Oh my
mob.
god, they're behind me.
We'll actually be in the crowd and it'll be a flash mob the whole time. And we'll suddenly realise we're all in the crowd all along.
Right. Kiss that score.
Can't wait.
I'm going to go for Kislev, but
Oh, what?
it's a. Actually, I'm going to go for a draw. It's a. Like
Oh,
both
what?
of them have the same advantages over each other, which is a really weird thing.
I think, in like crappy 80s movies where like they shoot at each other and the bullets hit midair and then neither of them die. I think that's going to happen. We're both going to leap at the same time and hit each other in the face and die. And that will be a 0-0 draw.
I think, James, as long as you make space.
What is this?
I actually happen to think, that based on both of your play styles, and James, I know that you're notorious for sort of making the odd mistake. I think I'd give
Alright.
Mike.
Didn't realise this is an
I'd give Mike
intervention. Bloody
the
hell.
advantage just by playing style. Yeah, I think.
I think actually, Matt, you need to give me a bit of space.
I mean, I'm
but,
miles away from you right
after
now.
that comment. Yeah,
Getting
well,
very personal.
yeah.
I don't think it's an unfair statement there. You know that you.
I really wish James.
Fair enough.
Really wish James came back with like, well, it's about time you won a final then or something. But
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
That's
beat
true.
you, Matt.
We haven't seen a Matt Euan
It's
game, have
true.
we?
Yeah, I've beaten
I
you
think
in
I'm
a
the
couple
only
of
player
times,
to
I
have
think.
not beaten Euan. Yeah, ever. We've tied.
I've not beaten Euan.
I ruined Ewan's perfect score last
Did
season.
well done.
yeah, you were the only one to beat me last season,
Yeah.
James.
I think that is the thing. Like James is the most impossible player to predict because he can just have the best game against someone who's, like you said, like didn't lose last season.
He was also, I think, the only person apart from me to beat Thomas. So he beat
Oh,
me
yeah.
beat first and second.
I am.
It's because you're a
David.
good player,
Giant
So
killer.
the question,
Against the Goliath.
James. You're a good player. It's just
The question
you make silly
is-
mistakes sometimes.
the question is Mike a good enough player for James to beat him?
yeah.
Yeah.
I've
I
certainly
don't know,
not.
Mike. I think you are a good
Oh,
player, though.
man.
I think you're both good players.
Yeah, you did win the division. So that I was in. So I lost to Mike, hypothetically.
Hypothetically,
Well,
and
you were
also
both
the games
the
that I
top
played.
2, and you were very
Yeah.
close, weren't you?
Yeah, I think
was
it was literally
Same wins, same draws, same losses, same bonus points. It was. I think it was a 2-point touchdown difference to Mike over the season,
Yeah.
which was essentially from when James conceded against Matt.
0-0.
Yeah.
0-0. It's
Had
gonna
a
be
bad day. Needed an intervention, but
You think
I
a
was
0-0
against
draw,
Matt.
not a 1-1
Well, all
draw?
right, maybe not 0-0.
Yeah.
1-1, 2-2, 3-3, draw, whatever.
Oh wow.
You just go for
No, I went for
everything.
draws. I went all draws.
Oh no,
That's
draw. Right, yeah. Okay.
That's not a prediction. That's just all of
But
the
seriously,
options.
James, just like make space and you'll be fine.
Can you write that down for me? That's
For those listening at home, Matt is not stuck on repeat.
Yeah, that is Matt's personality.
I'm gonna be really worried if the next time I see you, Matt, you're just saying that in a rocking chair.
It's like black. Yeah. Just make more space, please, James.
So, next in round 5, we've got my Necromantic against Thomas's Kales Dwarves.
Ooh. What was
I'm
he
gonna
going
go for Thomas's
I'm going
Chaos
Necromantic.
Dwarves.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe Necromantic because of the speed. But the thing about Chaos Dwarves is those like bastards with hooves. Like they can move
the
like
centaurs.
the centaurs. They can like move surprisingly fast, and it
They're-
always annoys me.
They're moved
They're
with
6
6.
3.
Yeah,
They're
the 6.
8.
And then they have like re-rollable going for it, so they get 7-8 very reliably.
And that's the thing. So like the werewolves could like move ahead, but then the bastards with hooves could obviously like catch up quite often.
I mean, both teams are,
And
both
they're
teams
quite
are
strong.
hardy. I think it'll just come down to the playing style.
Maybe Necromantic.
I think Necromantic have the
I think
edge because they're
Necromantic
sort of
might.
more. They seem to me, anyway, from on the face of things, being more versatile.
But then Chaos Dwarves could just, I don't know, kill a few of their
When you
weaker
say
players.
weaker
I
players,
don't know.
I mean their
Does
players are
depend,
designed to stand there and be hit. They can just.
Well, aren't there like Skaven and stuff on there?
Necromantic has zombies,
imagining?
which obviously just like.
If they have
Yeah, the
ghouls,
ghouls.
then yeah.
Oh yeah, we've been through this as well. So maybe I should just listen to the beginning of the podcast. Yeah. Okay, good point. Thank you. Sorry.
I haven't really commented on any of my games, but I feel like Thomas is due a win over me, so I feel like he's going to win that one. Bit of revenge for the final.
See what Nuffle thinks.
Then we have David versus Lachlan, Lizardman versus High Elf.
Who put that? Someone just put the score in as 6-0 for Thomas against Euan, but that is obviously untrue unless he's a time traveler.
I was going to say, I'm not sure Chaos Dwarves can score 6 touchdowns against someone when there's not an opponent against them.
Is that even possible? Yeah.
I think if there was ever a 6-0 win for Chaos Dwarves, would have to launch an investigation.
It would certainly be worth a rewatch.
Yeah, drug. Yeah, they'd need a drug test. Yeah.
Yeah, there'd be some collusion checks going on, I feel.
Yeah.
But yes, David versus Lachlan, Lizardman versus High Elf. I think similar to what I was saying against, I think it was David versus Tom. I think Lizardman's just put so much pressure on High Elves that it makes it very tough, especially as they've got the speed to get back if there is a break.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm going David's slight win for that.
Out of experience, like I agree. I really just couldn't do anything against Lizardmen. Like, yeah. So I agree. Lizardmen for the win. 5-0 or whatever it is.
I don't think it'll be that bad. I think it might be a sort of 2-1, 2-0 type thing for David.
Double that score, 5-0.
I think I'm going to vote for Lachlan.
What is wrong with you, Tom? Like, so many mixed messages. So, who are you? Who are you anymore? Right.
Yeah,
why?
Lachlan always. I'll give a reason to it. Fuck it. Like Lachlan around the middle stage of every tournament starts getting really good. He's kind of just gives everyone a head start, like at the start of the season.
It's a nice like that.
It's true actually. I reckon like Lachlan's like final half of the season is like considerably up on his sort of win percentages
Yeah.
than the first half.
Yeah,
Because I remember he's done that with
Mm.
Norse a couple of times as well.
his Norse team was absolutely deadly by the end of the season.
And he did something similar when he was Norse first time in season 2, I think. He was sort of like 6th at the halfway stage, and then possibly should have been second. But in fact, if we had the same rules for buys as we do now, he would have been second. But that's a different story. Then we've got Tom versus Matt, Dark Elves versus Orcs. This is always a good one to watch.
Yeah, yeah. That's hard.
It's kinda
Maybe
Jack-
Orcs.
I feel like this is one where again this is personality, and Tom always seems to have a mental block with Matt, so I feel like Matt's going to win this one. This is going to be a 1-0 to Matt, I think.
Saying that Matt has always been, yeah, I struggle really badly, and like I said of our final, if he had a better mouse, I think he would have won the game.
That's funny. Yeah.
Also, I feel like Tom might really not want Elves to beat Orcs. I might set them.
He's going to have that. Just
There's a bit of a there's a conflict of interest
Tom's
going on.
prior experience.
I accidentally put my Witch Elf in the middle of your 5 Black Orcs.
Yeah.
How many are there? 4. 5 Black Orcs.
Yeah, but Tom, maybe you have to win this one to keep up the illusion that you're not like a insider. Yeah. What do you call it? Like a
taking down the elves from the inside.
yeah. Take them down.
And then if we're talking
You can
about
look
games to round it off, and possibly the game of the season to watch, we have Gunner's Goblins versus Jack's Ogres. I feel like
I think the ogre's on that one.
yeah, I agree
Yeah.
as well. But like, dear Lord, there could be some crazy stuff happening there.
Well, I
It's
don't
gonna be a
know.
fun one to see.
I do think ogres probably shouldn't win any of their games, really.
I think Ogres are, compared to Goblins, the more reliable team.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
I did put Jack over Gummer in the final rankings for my prediction for the season. I think the ogres will do better overall.
Yeah,
I predicted before like Jack even joined the league, so
Okay. What is this? Did you roll like an 8-ball or something? What are you about to say?
I can like predict someone who wasn't here, like just was gonna beat someone else. I think Gummer's gonna win it, but I think by that point he's gonna have like enough inducements to get another troll or something ridiculous.
The thing is, like
the same as one ogre.
It'd be so difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. You could have like 3 random trolls, or you could have 5, possibly 6 ogres at this point, where the ogres have got level ups and things.
Oh my god.
So yeah.
I'm gonna go for goblins because I'm stubborn.
Okay.
Yeah. Goblins are closer to orcs than
Good enough reason.
I think you've worked it out. Like they're green. I'm voting for them.
Yeah. I think like it will be impossible to take down an ogre.
I don't think
So,
that's
like,
the case, but I think the amount of resource needed.
They go down.
Really? Aren't they like strength 20 or something?
They are strength 20.
I know that they're not.
They're strength 5. So yeah,
Okay.
it's not easy to do. You're certainly not going to knock multiple of them down. And
Yeah, when there's like 3 of them in a
exactly.
row. It's like
It's going to be tough. Yeah,
like
it's
a
the
really
amount of
shit game
resource
of
to be
dominoes.
needed just to take one down is too much to be able to commit to doing it.
yeah. That's why lizard men always beat high elves. Too much resources to take like a strength 4 down. But yeah, I think Jack could win it. Just depends on the Noblars. There you go. I have to say.
Cool.
Oh yeah, what happened there? Just everyone just died. Was it? That was odd.
Wait, is
Have I
Is
been
yours still
muted
here?
again? Like what?
Yes.
Have you all decided just to?
I mean, I've been mentally tuning James out for about half an hour now.
Oh,
so.
He's been
no.
manually adding the beeps as we've been
That's
going.
why I never got it. Yeah, he just like puts it in his own head. It's like a Black Mirror episode or something. They're just
Blocks him out.
everyone just hears beeps when I talk. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really sad.
I really hope that never becomes a reality.
No one's listening to me. Yeah. Okay. All right. Is that
I
it?
think what I've learned from this podcast is I'm going to change my team to Norse.
Too late to change teams at this point.
We
God damn it.
After
I change-
I thought you
After-
could change teams at any time.
after round 1, yes.
So I can get all
yeah.
my elves killed, and then okay,
Oh, no.
But yes.
and then I can get all my Norse killed.
Theoretically, Tom, if you wanted to, after each round, you could select a new team if you wanted.
Ooh, okay.
Just pick a team depending on who you're playing.
But your team will always
That's
be
actually
underdeveloped.
such a fun idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, unless
Lots of
you're
inducements.
goblins,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and then you could have a thing like, cool, I'll go and I'll have a game as Halflings and Elven Union, so we've played all the teams in the league now. But
I think I've now just got a dream of getting like 4 wizards, just like being so low on TV.
I-
Just
pretty
That's
sure you
awesome.
could only ever have
Would
one
you,
wizard, but
Would
I
you
can't
really
say
actually
I
roll for your stadium upgrade every time you rolled for a new team?
I guess we haven't really discussed that.
Mm.
I think technically we said it was the start of the season thing. So I think not having a second stadium upgrade come for free for any future team seems reasonable.
I can't
different
play at
teams
home
seem to-
anyway, so it's not a problem.
But I guess now you've said that, we'll have to have
Yeah.
a chat offline and make a rule about
Yeah.
it for future seasons. But
Can we have a referendum?
we're having a referendum halfway through for season 7, so
Referendum.
we can add it to the list.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
We're
yeah,
gonna have Orcs it.
does anyone want to say anything else? Otherwise, I think
My
we
only
can wrap
question
it up there.
is:
I've
Well,
got
well,
no
are
money, mate.
we looking at our predictions for the whole season as to who we think winners would be? Just like touch on the winner of Division 1, 2.
Okay, yeah. So let's finish off with that. So I went for top of Division 1, I went for Thomas. He's proven he's very good with bashy teams. If he hasn't topped the league, he's been pretty close to it most seasons. So he's my pick for topping Division 1. Especially as most of the other, in fact, all of the other teams, apart from Wood Elves in Division 1, are technically Tier 2 teams. Kales Dwarf's a Div 1 team, Tier 1 team. And Division 2, I've gone for Matt. Not necessarily because I think Ogres are better than Dark Elves or Lizardmen. But I think Matt has always been very good at beating David and Tom. And Jack and Gummer are playing meme teams. So I was like, yeah.
And Matt is very good at creating space.
That was good.
So,
It's also extremely sneaky.
Exactly.
yeah. He's got it all.
So if we have
Guys want to
if
be
Matt
him.
if Matt is my top of Division 2 pick, that means he gets into the playoffs, which means he'll win the quarterfinals,
Yeah, that's
semi-final,
it,
and lose
exactly,
the final
yeah.
again.
Yeah.
I'll probably lose. I've lost to you. I've lost to Thomas. What else have I lost to? Bomb. And
Tom.
yeah, so there you go. So I need to lose to someone else.
Yeah.
If you get
Yeah.
if you
Needs to lose
get
to
into the
everyone.
final, if you get into the final, I'm just gonna buy you a mouse.
I've got a
I'm
mouse.
just
Yes.
gonna send it straight to you.
Well, buy him a laptop.
Yeah, no, please do.
thing
That would
is,
be cool. If I
chugging
get to the
along.
final, please buy me a laptop.
Yeah.
That'd be great. You can all chip in. Buy me a good one.
I mean,
Oh.
we can all chip in.
Although Tom, that's reminded me. You need to send me the trophy, or you need to
Oh,
send
right,
it. Yeah. Get a photo of yourself with it first. We need it.
Oh.
We need to put that on like our our teams of legend thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't want to be that guy, but I'd need to find it.
that's fine. That's fine. Doesn't have to be immediate.
I did
but yeah,
use it. I did use it as scenery for a Warhammer game that I played.
did you actually mention?
Seems like a
like,
suitable
this,
use.
yeah, this is my trophy for winning a Blood Bowl league. I'm just gonna
I
casually
can't
leave that here.
I can't wait till Tom dies, like when he's like 100 or something. So
What?
but then his gravestone's just gonna have a picture of him holding his blood bowl out because it's the most successful thing that he's ever done.
Yeah,
I really
no,
hope
when
that's
he's like
not how it
100.
is. And then after underneath, like on my gravestone, it would just say, "Yeah, he loved orcs."
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hated
in brackets
elves.
underneath.
Hated those scumbag elves.
Surely it should be something like no one knows how much he likes orcs or something.
Yeah, he'll be truly missed by the green kind. I think Euan might win Division 1 because I think Necromantic are flexible enough to be able to do it. So, and I think Euan has the chops to make it happen. Ooh. For Division 2, however, I don't think that Jack is going to win. Sorry, Jack. I've never met you, but I don't have much hope for you. I think that the thing is, yeah, I think that Matt might just pull it, but I think Tom, if he can get over his own hatred for himself and doesn't like cause self-harm as emos are known to do, I think he might be able to do quite well as well. So I think it might be close, but I think Matt might just be able to, have more self-confidence and pull through to the end. There you go. That's my prediction.
I'm still on a bit of
Thank
a
you, everyone.
losing streak
You
at
can
the
all
moment.
sit
So
down.
I'm still not that confident about my abilities at the sport, if you can call it that.
Yeah.
Matt, you've definitely placed yourself lower than anybody else has in the predictions.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I had to put
For
myself
division.
above
I think-
Gummer and Jack because I felt like it would be weird for the purpose of, like, obviously goblins and ogres. But I mean, yeah. And then I put David higher because I've played lizards in past, and Tom, I haven't played as Dark Elves before. So yeah. I also, like, the way I did my whole prediction, I assigned a score to the teams I thought were the better teams to win or the more likely to win, and then I assigned a score to players who I thought were more likely to win. And for both divisions, there were actually a lot of ties in the middle, and then I kind of weighted it more heavily towards team. So Euan again, Necromantic, I've put you at top for my Division 1 just because I think Necromantic, I played them obviously for one season, and I just thought they were great, and the werewolves, and yeah, I think Necromantic it's just a really good team. And then yeah, I put David in, but like I said, everybody had a very similar score, and again, it's just Lizardmen, and again, I rate the team more highly, and that's why they've ended up at top of Division 2.
Well.
Mike, your top for each division?
So I've literally just put Euan and Thomas in reverse order because I had originally put Thomas to win. I think actually Matt makes a good point, and I think that the Necromantic, with you playing them, will be better than the Chaos Dwarves. I don't know a lot about the Chaos Dwarves, but maybe they're just a bit too slow to put the points on the board, as it were. We'll see. I definitely think between Euan and Thomas for the top two spots. So I think most people have predicted that as well in Division 1. Looking through, apart from Tom C has a bit of a different ranking than anyone else.
Yeah,
on those predictions, but
yeah, he's got a lot of bias.
but he put me in third, just like I put me in third. So
yeah, but he's just trying to play it cool.
Well, he
with
doesn't-
that. Like,
IJ,
his hand was shaking when he put Orcs in third. I assure you.
well, he's put
He's in a
himself in
cold sweat
first.
afterwards. Yeah, well,
it's the confidence you need.
he's a confusing man.
Yeah, elves will win, orcs will lose. In fact,
Maybe.
Literally, I put Matt in third because I think he can do without the pressure.
yeah, no, you said that. Yeah. In fact, you know what?
Good guy,
I
Tom
appreciate
Clark.
that. I
We'll help him
genuinely
out.
do.
But now
Okay,
that
well-
I've told you, I think the
Yeah,
pressure's
it
straight
is,
back on.
damn
So
it.
it didn't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
work very well.
And
I
to
didn't
amp
realise
up
there
that
were gonna be-
pressure, Matt.
I didn't realise there was going to be so many mind games in this.
Mm.
Oh, this is
Welcome.
Meta League.
I'm definitely
Mentally.
I'm definitely rooting for the circus. I'd love to see the circus win.
Me too. No black team.
Mm. I
Well,
just think
I
the animal welfare.
I have predicted
is
myself
another
as
problem.
last place in Division 1, though. I've never played them before. I think they're going to be tricky, but it's hopefully going to be fun.
I think if Kislev gets to the playoffs, they might end up being the best team in the playoffs. But I think them getting to the playoffs is very tough because
Yeah.
they've got such a learning curve.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Or a
I put
leading
Matt
curve.
to win Division 2 just to
Nice.
keep the pressure up a little more. I was a bit torn between Matt and David, but I think Matt's just going to edge it out, and David's going to come second with the Lizard Men. Sorry, Tom.
I think Matt's actually going to win by a significant margin. Actually,
Do you think?
yeah, just to put the pressure doubly.
Don't
on,
believe
so
the
that you
hype.
don't-
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's not.
Yeah.
The
He's
last
not winning
game I won was
substantially.
against David,
He's
and
really.
that was like game 2 of the last season.
I think if Matt doesn't win the division,
Yeah, I
he should
will.
feel ashamed of himself.
Yeah, I'll
That's
probably
basically
commit
what I'm saying.
seppuku at the end.
Yeah,
Fair. Yeah.
yeah, I think you should.
Wow.
Well, surely if you have a season like last season, Matt, then I think you've just got to play
Yeah, I
half.
probably would at that point. Yeah, I've nothing to lose.
Because then some sort of cut.
Yeah, don't kill yourself. Just
It's
play
the same
halflings.
thing. Yeah.
It's the
It's
same thing.
similar. Yeah.
But sorry, Tom, do you want to wrap us up with your predictions for top of each one?
I think that Euan is going to win
Oh,
because he's very good at Bloodbath.
look at that. What,
Easiest prediction ever.
is this Tom's
And then
cousin
I
again?
think I am gonna win Division 2
Oh.
because I think humility is
You
overrated.
could argue you've got
Okay.
and that's fair enough.
No, but everyone likes Messi. No one likes Ronaldo.
That's true. Yeah, but you know, if you're gonna win, you're gonna win.
I am gonna
So-
win. There we go. Thanks.
Yeah.
And I feel
Everyone
terrible
likes a
while-
bad guy. But the thing is, Messi, people like him because there's a douchebag. And we like Matt is like the Messi because he's like a really nice guy. And then Tom, you're just like the douchebag that we all love to hate. So I think that's how we
I'd
should
like to also just
look
quickly
at
draw
it.
attention to Lachlan's predictions for Division 2. For the third spot, he put David and Matt, which I think
Yeah.
is interesting.
And just nobody for 4 or 5.
He also put Gummer as first.
win.
So, you know.
I wonder if he was
no,
really
he's
taking it
played
serious.
Goblins before, and I think he believes in them. I think that's probably why they're there.
He's like a proud father.
He has put himself last on his own ranking for that as well.
Hmm.
In fact, Lachlan hasn't been rated very highly by anyone except for the Toms.
Oh.
Lachlan's a really good player. He just never
He
really
is.
goes for a
he
tier
doesn't-
1 team.
Yeah,
He actually
goes
doesn't,
for the
does he?
interesting-
This
he
is
goes for
probably
more
the
interesting sort of
closest.
teams, isn't he?
Norse are a tier 1 team.
Oh yeah, true.
I think he's the hipster of the Blood Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a fair point to make, but we do have Gummer going with Goblins
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Nurgle
true.
is his 2, and Jack joining in straight with Ogres. I mean, technically, we have Tom
Yeah.
Pope with Vampires as well for 2 games
yeah.
as well. But
There is a
I, mean,
difference
I think
between
Lachlan's maybe the hipster, and those guys are just the weird kids in the
Yeah.
corner wearing
He can't like use a spoon. properly.
chains and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Weird like face tattoos and stuff.
Chains and eyeshadow and perception.
Yeah. Makes Tom Clark look like a normie.
Hey, I'm edgy, guys.
I'm still edgy. I listen to pop punk.
I've got zips on my boots.
What? Fair enough. Oh, dang. I got
I've
zips
got
on my boots.
I've got a secret pocket on my jacket.
What is
Not
it?
anymore.
Oh shit! I've just been robbed.
All right. I'm going to be controversial again and say,
Good night.
let's keep on track. What are we doing? What next? We've
We're
all
ending there.
predicted. We're
Ending
ending. This
there.
is the end.
It's 100% way past time for me to go to bed.
Oh,
How long
but,
was this podcast?
too long.
We're getting to 2.5
Oh,
hours.
whoa.
We normally do an hour and a half.
Five
for these sort of
people.
things.
I mean, post edit, it's going to be maybe like 10 minutes, isn't it? Of actual
Yeah.
content.
yeah,
Would you
Might have to
remove
take-
James completely?
There's just nothing left when he's gone.
Oh man.
yeah.
That
No,
sucks. I should have
normally-
spoken.
normally taking the video for this takes like an hour and a half because of the sort of rendering time, and I'm dreading how long this one's going to take for the YouTube
But if you
upload
do
now.
delete
But,
James's bits, you have to just leave some space for him, okay?
I am planning on doing two versions of the
Hey.
podcast.
That was good.
So sorry.
The full version and the listenable version.
Yeah, I'm very sorry, Matt, that you've been kicked out of the league this
Oh.
season now for unrelated reasons.
Are you going to change your predictions?
Yeah, we're just going to have 9 this season. We think it's easier, despite the fact that it's really not. So I guess a late thank you to Jack
Oh,
right at
definitely.
the end for
Yeah.
stepping in at the last minute.
Yeah, definitely.
A round of
We have to
applause
clap
for
into the
Jack.
microphone now.
Yeah, we have to clap now.
It's quite
Yeah.
difficult.
That was probably the shittest round of applause ever, but there we
Yep.
are.
Sorry,
Technically,
Jack.
it's a technical round of applause where you've got to appreciate the effort rather than anything else. But yeah, thanks for coming, everyone. Got a couple of late visitors. And see you in 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 5 weeks or 6 weeks.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Yeah.